.604 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. Wilton Landry producing. We're ready for a Tuesday show. We're ready to rock and roll. A lot more election recap. Well, a little more election recap slated out for today. A lot of America 250 on the show, but we got a lot to break down. We'll give you the full rundown in just a minute. We'll tell you Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, slated to join us later on this hour. But you know how we start the show off. Top stories and trending. Let's get it. Starts us off with the Baton Rouge Police and the FBI. They're preparing to search a landfill for the body of 15-year-old Chidarius Miniweather, with the physical search expected to begin around July 13th. Now, why wait that long? Well, they're not just digging through trash here. They've got to work logistics on moving large piles at a time. Baton Rouge Fire Chief Michael Kimball compared the process to the search for identifying details after the Twin Towers came down. In an effort to ease traffic congestion, the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development is introducing an AI-powered queue detection system along I-12 out in Denham Springs. The system gives drivers a heads up before they get to the congestion in the hopes of reducing rear-end collisions, or maybe even allowing for folks to reroute if they can get a hold of that, get a hold of the slowdowns before that next exit. A 35-year-old was shot and killed in an apartment complex along Cadillac Street early yesterday morning. BRPD said 35-year-old Anthony Tyler was found shot at the Zion Terrace Apartments, which are near Breck's Fortune Edition Park, shortly after 2 a.m. Tyler died at the scene. Yesterday, Judge Chip Moore lifted an order that blocked Governor Jeff Landry's plan to cut public school budgets to pay for teacher stipends. That's poorly worded sentence. They're not cutting the budget. They're just moving the money around. This will go into effect on July 1st. It'll take $168 million from the MFP. That money would be used to fund a $2,000 stipend for 51,000 public school teachers and a $1,000 stipend for the 40,000 support staff across Louisiana. A bench warrant's been issued for a Baton Rouge police officer after he failed to appear in court for an arraignment on sexual battery charges. According to court records, Stephon Jones was due in court yesterday for an arraignment on charges connected to a December 2025 incident in which he allegedly groped a gas station employee. His lawyer was present, but according to 19 JDC filings, Jones was not. All right, Wilton, what you got?
All right, I got a few trending stories for you today. Big one, of course, is the Supreme Court rulings that were coming out yesterday.
Yep.
In a controversial 5-4 decision, that the Supreme Court ruled that late arriving mail-in ballots can still be counted as long as they are postmarked by Election Day. What do you think about this one, Brian?
I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of mail-ins unless it's absolutely necessary, like, our servicemen and women around the world, that they belong in their own category, to be sure. But I'm a little disappointed because in all the coverage of this yesterday, postmarked by election date, that phrase got left out just about everywhere you turned, because it becomes a point of contention and a point of anger if you say, well, you just mail it in ballots whenever you want to. No, you're not mailing in ballots whenever you want to. They've got to be mailed by election date. On the one hand, I don't really like the idea of being able to affect an election after election date. But on the other hand, if I were using a mail-in ballot, if you're allowing mail-in ballots at all, which, different topic, but if you're allowing them at all, and as the voter, I do my job and get my homework turned in on time, but the U.S. Postal Service does not do their job, that shouldn't affect my vote. If the USP, if
seeing the coverage was a little bit inflamed.
The coverage left out a key piece of the whole ruling, which really affects the way you look at it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Going a little bit more local over here, folks in St. Tammany Parish can add a sheriff's race to their November ballot. This coming in the wake of Sheriff Randy Smith resigning after getting into a fist fight at a Madisonville steakhouse. I haven't been following this one too closely. Do they have an interim sheriff for the time being, or?
So yes, but I think it's like the third or fourth one down because whoever was supposed to be interim sheriff also stepped down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I don't know the backstory behind number 2 leaving. Randy Smith, obviously, we all followed that one. If you're going to get a little Donnybrook over there in Madisonville, which is just so on brand for Madisonville. I'm sorry, I grew up over there. Madisonville, I think still they may have changed the caution light to a red light. Like that's about the extent of it, but it's so on brand. Growing up in St. Tammany Parish, I never realized just how backwoods and corrupt we were. I shouldn't say corrupt. Yes, corrupt, but backwoods and corrupt we were until you get out and you get to really see it firsthand, and the rest of the world moves forward, and your parish stays the same. It's it's almost it's like so backwards. It's endearing.
It's almost cute. Oh man. Well, St. Tammany Parish, get ready to make your selections come November for that sheriff selection. We got for our third trending story, we got a shark alligator rule story for you guys.
Whoa. We got to stop you right there because you're new.
I was actually going to ask.
So we have a rule here. We have a rule, and it's based in a long-standing tradition on this show. If there is a story about a shark or an alligator, we will find it, we will cover it. And this has evolved to the point where most of the shark alligator rule stories are now user submitted.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, in fact, 3 different people sent this to me yesterday, one of them including my wife. So, go ahead. And I'll give you the backstory, the genesis of the whole shark alligator rule later on. But go ahead.
Okay. So, for this one, a 28-year-old Mexican man was attacked and killed by a crocodile and dragged out to sea. His body and the crocodile were both recovered.
This was in I'm gonna forget where. Oh, nuts. Give me one quick second. Yes, it was in Mexico. Not that stupid. But where in Mexico? I have it right here. Give me 1 second. WAFB actually picked up this story, which I think they might be adopting our shark alligator rule because
it's pretty good.
Puerto Vallarta, Mexico is where this was, which it's not a local story, so I don't know why WAFB has got it other than somebody was attacked by a shark, or a crocodile in this case. So they have American crocodiles in Puerto Vallarta, which I didn't know about. But as I understand it, they stay inland in like rivers, estuaries, lakes, and whatnot. Having them out in the ocean was what was different about this one, because normally they stay away from the populated areas. This is a very, very rare instance. But A, they stay away from the populated areas, and B, this crocodile dragged this guy out to sea, which tragic story because someone was killed. But dragged him out to sea in Puerto Vallarta, according to authorities in the Mexican state of Jalisco.
Yeah, that sounds way worse than a shark attack. Sharks normally just bite.
Yeah,
and then it's bad, but like they let you go.
Being dragged out.
Eat you. Yeah. Oh man. All right.
We are at 612 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We'll take a quick break in just a minute. On the way back in for the break, talk a little Pelicans basketball. They had their 1 draft pick, had his press conference, and he actually did pretty well. We'll cover that in a minute. Got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. Download the Mathern's Rewards app before you do your 4th of July shopping. If you're planning on firing up the grill this weekend and you don't have the Mathern's Rewards app, let me tell you what they've got going on. Of course, over at the Mathern's at Kenilworth location, you'll find great specials on meat all the time, right? And what good is firing up the grill unless you're getting great specials on meat? But all the other side things that you might be adding to your barbecue over the weekend, your 4th of July festivities over the weekend, things as simple as, you're not going to have burgers without mayonnaise. Food Club mayonnaise is 50 cents off. You're going to throw some dessert on there. There are a stack of items that are marked down, and now I'm scrolling through them. Stack of items that are marked down for desserts, whether you're talking about Freezy Pops or brownies. They've got a bunch of, it's 50 cents here, $1 there, $1 here, $1 there. Hellman's mayonnaise is $2.50 off. That's an even better deal than the Food Club one. Craven chips are marked down right now as well, so they'll go alongside the hamburgers and hot dogs. But here's the thing. You clip the deals within the app. It adds them all up. You earn cash towards more groceries every time you shop. And, they do the mathing for you right there at the checkout counter. Plus all the other great parts of Mathern's at Kenilworth, where you talk about the specialty meats they've got in the back, whether you talk about the coffee shop they've got up front, they've got you covered. It's Mathern's. Nope. Nope. You're doing just fine.
Now, if this stuff in here doesn't finish by 6:20, do I still run this Fox News?
What? No, the Fox Business Report. This stack will be over. This break will be over by about 6:16, 6:17.
Okay.
I'll do my sports and I'll run it up to 6:20.
Got it.
How are you this morning, Kane?
So the one mistake I made so far was when I started the top stories, I still had the first morning.
It's one of those things where the thing on the open, and you stopped it while he's kind of doing an introduction to the show of that hour. Pop in cue and just make sure that it's completely done playing, and then immediately just go back up. But the cue allows you to make sure, because like we mentioned yesterday, when you hit an elemental, it kind of goes up. It fades and it's just cut out cold. So once you faded it out, he's talking, you can stop it, use cue to make sure that it's completely done, and then boom, immediately put it back up. Because when you went to top stories, the trending that happened, but when you went to the trending open, you had it up and you were ready to go. So, yeah. It's just little things.
Man. Cool. .618 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So how do you get excited? How do you get excited about a one pick draft when that pick is basically the third to last pick in the whole draft? Well, SMU guard Jaron Pierre became the first New Orleans native to be drafted by the Pelicans last week. The St. Aug alum was taken with the 58th overall pick. Yeah, he comes in averaging 17 points, 4 boards per game with the Mustangs. He's 6'6", and this scorer says he could do it all. Cut 16, please.
I'm an offensive prowess. Like, I'm a 3-level scorer. Like, I can do it all on the offensive end. Weaknesses that I feel like I'm going to get better in on the defensive side. I just want to show that I can do it every night. That's something that I feel like I hear a lot that, okay, it's something with defense. Like, can he do it? I can do it. Like, I have the toughness and the grit and the physical size for it. So it's just me wanting to show it every night. So that's something I want to just get better at showing it.
And he does show it. I pulled up a couple of this guy's highlight reels last night. He has the potential to be explosive from time to time, to be sure. How that translates up to the next level is still to be determined. Pierce shot 46% from the floor, 37% from three last year. He's also the Conference USA Player of the Year. He says the experience across 5 seasons in 4 schools, that level of experience, because he also went to Southern Miss, Wichita State, Jackson State before going to SMU. That experience is going to help him move over to the NBA. 17.
I relate back to my journey in my past. When he said, like, how would you be when you come in and there's a road thrown at you? Like, I'll be able to accept it and do it to 110% because I've been in those shoes before. So it's a learning process, but it's a great thing when you feel like you can go to 4-5 different schools and learn 4-5 different people. Like, it helps you in the long run.
Really only one way to go when it comes to Pelicans excitement, and that's up, because everything till now has been to do. We're coming up on 620 at Talk 107.3 FM. Here is the Fox Business Report. Kill my mic off so that the Charleton Meginley and possibly Anna Johnson. Yeah. Baby would break her.
No, since I'm shooting election coverage, I don't have any kids. So,
Also, skinny as a pencil.
I think pencils use that same now.
They do.
What happened to you, number 2? Going to Anna Johnson.
All right, we got a couple of slow spots on I-12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs. Let's start out at Denham Springs, where you're going to tap the brakes a little bit around Range Avenue all the way up to the Amite River. Things pick back up again once you're past the Amite River all the way into town. Now, when you get coming up on the 10-12 merge, like let's say in between Drusilla and the merge, you are going to slow down one more time. Not nearly enough to make you want to change your route, not nearly enough to make you even stop, but you will tap the brakes just a little bit. Meanwhile, 10 westbound coming in from Ascension Paris looks great. 10 eastbound coming back across from West Baton Rouge looks great. I-110 is golden in both directions as well. Surface streets, there's only one accident to look out for out by, this one's out in St. George. Jefferson at Stumberg is an accident being worked by the sheriff's office at this time, and that's the only blip on the radar for surface streets. So that's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .623 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right, let's give you that full rundown for guests on the show today. We got Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, going to join us about 11 minutes from right now. In our 7 o'clock hour, let's talk about Veterans Affairs with Charleton Meginley. He is the head of the State Department of Veterans Affairs. I reached out to him because, if you will recall from last week, and I know we stay completely dialed in and remember everything that happened on the show, right? If you recall from last week, we spoke with a guy named Will Hubbard about a story about the GI Bill and changes that are coming along the way that could actually hurt Louisiana veterans. Some different tweaks and topics. We'll talk with Charleton Meginley about what his take is on those same topics. Also want to talk a little America 250 with him. That's coming up at 7:15, 7:35. Checking in Ascension Parish with the Ascension Parish Chamber. Today we're going to be talking with Brian Henderson, covering the Ascension Chamber's Young Ascension Professionals Program, aka the YAP. It was created to build strong community of emerging leaders by fostering professional development, personal growth, and meaningful connections out there in Ascension Parish. We'll talk with him at 7:35, 8:15. Back to America 250. Anna Johnson's going to be on board. Always love having her on. Might pick her brain about a couple of other topics as well. And then DC Current, presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, is at 8:35. Congressman Troy Carter is slated to join us. Yes, we'll get his America 250 thoughts, specifically Louisiana's role in the formation of the nation. But also, something pretty miraculous happened last week down in New Orleans. And we've been talking about men's health this June with Congressman Carter, and the first Louisiana resident to be completely cured of sickle cell. First Louisiana resident was cured, I should say, last week down in New Orleans. Like I said, it's a miraculous story. We will talk about it a good bit when we have the congressman on coming up at 8:35. Right now, I want to dive back into the topic of last Saturday's election and how I tend to get myself in trouble with the Republican Party. So I had two guests on yesterday, and then one of them will actually be in studio later on today. Moon Graffon's going to be doing his show from here. Two guests on yesterday who both said the same thing. Julia Letlow is going to win in the fall in a walk. After winning the Republican nomination, Julia Letlow is going to win in the fall in a walk. And I'm a little bit concerned about how flippant that is right now. Because if you rewind the clock back to 2020, Bill Cassidy was still in everybody's good graces, right? And as an incumbent who was very popular at the time, even as an incumbent, in the primary election on November 3rd in 2020, Bill Cassidy only garnered 59% of the vote as an incumbent. Now, there was a stack of like 15 or so candidates, right? Democrats were spread out across the board. There were at least 3 different Democrats who garnered significant percentage points, whether you're talking like 11 points, 19 points, I think was the highest one. And I don't have the full list in front of me from 2020 because it just wasn't worth breaking down name by name. I could pull it back up. But it was so spread out across the board. But there's an important point about this that I don't want us to overlook as we start mapping our way towards November, okay? And that is, here we go. I got it right here. You had Derek Champ Edwards had 11%. Adrian Perkins was the number one Democrat at 19%. And then you had Antoine Pierce got 3%. Cassidy got 59%. And then you had a whole stack of no party candidates or independent candidates or other party candidates, a libertarian in there, all picking up 1 or 2% apiece. And this is the part that I'm a little bit concerned about for this fall, is all those other or no party possibilities that could enter the mix here. Congresswoman Julia Letlow should be fine. I think I disagree with what Scott McKay said yesterday. I believe her resume is just fine. I believe she's impressive. I've been impressed with her along the way. She should be just fine. But I have a concern that the Republican Party in the state is going to be so nonchalant about the November election that things could sneak up on us. If a popular incumbent only garnered 59% of the vote in the general election 6 years ago, what's it going to say when a controversial non-incumbent, when a controversial so-called newcomer is on the ballot and you have a heavy push of folks who did not like her on the first round. What's going to happen if someone from the John Fleming camp, someone who loved John Fleming, decides to pony up and run as a constitutional party candidate? What's going to happen when you see 40% of Democrats run or 40% of folks vote for Democrats? You have to get that other 60%. Because if John Fleming, who's getting 25% along the way, if his support can go to a third party, there is no runoff in this election. The plurality is what's going to win it overall. So I'm not scared, but I'm concerned. There should be a tad bit of alarm going on, or a sense of urgency, I should say. And the other reason for this is, if the Democrat Party smells blood in the water because there's somebody new coming along, they can pump a lot of money into this race. And the Republican Party has to worry about North Carolina, Ohio, Texas, and Maine as their main fronts to either hang on to or pick up a seat, because you don't want to flip over in this election. I don't want Louisiana to fall to the wayside and just be a non-entity. Here's news. Oh, I know.
Oh my God! Like, how do you even clear the rubble and find somewhere to put it to even rebuild? Like, and the people, like, life is so stressful. A city, like, cities getting destroyed is just.
Let's go. Let's go. Time to F up my allergies. Let's go. Crouere.
Hey there, Mr. Jet. This is Talk 1073. Get ready to put you on with Brian Haldane.
I just texted him topics.
All right, awesome. We're going to throw you on hold real quick, and Brian will talk to you in about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. He's ready.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 1073 Traffic Center.
Still minor slowing developing on the I-12 approach, not adding dramatically to the drive time as of yet, but things are starting to slow a bit there. No big problems on the I-10 side if you're coming in from Ascension Parish, crossing over Highland S7 12 split, moving nicely, light volume all around in the east for the moment.
Boop, 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 boop.
Shouldn't this regional music be a program for? No.
Only if it's part of a bit. Only if I'm using it as part of content. Because if that's in program 4, it'll mute us on Facebook and YouTube. Actually, I don't think it mutes on YouTube. YouTube has so much unlicensed music, it's not even funny. Yeah, if it's ever to be in there, I will tell you specifically to put it in.
But as far as like the listening experience, probably better.
Yeah.
As far as something that it's not, just they're going to hear one level of audio going there. They could compete with them hearing Brian.
As America turns 250, Talk 1073 wants to hear from you. What does America mean to you?
My thirds. Walk into my thirds. He crossed to Delaware to go get some chicken strips. God love that guy.
Let me tell you about the time I took the strawberries to Mike Foster. Hold on, Mike. Oh, yes. There's a couple minutes. Well, you had a bushel.
Michael Hecht is stepping down.
Talk 1073 weather.
More intense heat is expected for the last day of June on your Tuesday. High temperatures up to 96 degrees. We do have a heat advisory as it feels like temperatures will exceed
so hot yesterday.
degrees. So make sure you're hydrating plenty. Features of storms into the afternoon. These will stay isolated in nature. Big increase in storm coverage is expected Wednesday. These will be numerous, and some of them could cause some gusty winds. I'm meteorologist Penguin Rogers with your storm safety forecast. WBZ Channel 2.
Caffeine for your brain. Talk 1073.
Good Lord. Anybody want to drive up to Richland Parish today just to get a look at the Meta Data Center? I think it'd be fun. No? Okay. 636 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along every Tuesday. We check in down in New Orleans. Jeff Crouere is the host of Ringside Politics down that way. He joins us. How are you, sir? Give me 1 second. There we
Way
go.
in the distance, my friend.
Sorry,
How you
no,
doing?
wait, hang on. They had you potted down real quick. Start over. How are you? We got you?
Hey, I can barely hear you, Brian.
Oh, he can barely hear me. Why is that? Am I not offline? There we go. How about now?
There you go.
All right, cool.
There you go.
Sorry, we're training. We're working through bringing on some new personnel, and
I got you.
you know how it rolls. How are you to start off the morning?
I'm doing great.
We're in the pause period of the marathon that has become the Senate race. I want to start right there before we get to anything else. Congresswoman Julia Letlow pulls down 57% at the polls on Saturday, and plus early voting. There seems to be a growing belief that she's going to walk towards re-election in the fall. I'm a little bit concerned, though, because, well, every time there's a wrestling match and the heel has the hero down the ground and he walks that lap around with his back turned to the guy who's on the ground, like let's say it's Hulk Hogan on the ground, he's walking around, he's taunting the crowd,
Right.
and then Hulk Hogan throws an arm up and the crowd goes crazy and he still doesn't turn around, and then when he finally does, it's too late because Hogan's about to wail on him. I don't want us to be the heel here. Like,
Right.
I believe there should be a concerted effort to keep our foot on the gas. What's your takeaway from Saturday through November 3rd?
No, I agree. I agree, especially when you have a race where you've got supporters of both Bill Cassidy and Dr. Fleming that are disillusioned, that are upset, that feel like their candidate was mistreated, and there'll be a percentage of them that might say, "Hey, we're not going to vote for this nominee. We'll vote for the Democrat."
Right.
Now, I don't think it's going to be a huge percentage, but it'll be probably some, especially since the Democrat nominee is against carbon capture and sequestration, which for a lot of Dr. Fleming supporters was the number one issue.
Yep.
So
Which
he'll
is-
probably do better than the normal Democrats because of that. I mean, I don't see him possibly winning.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is such a Republican state, and he is not well known, and I don't think he's going to have the money. I don't see the Democratic Party pumping a lot of resources into the state. They're going to be focused on Georgia, North Carolina, and Iowa, and so many other states.
What about the
So I think
possibility?
he's in a strong position still.
What about the possibility of a third party candidate? What happens if someone decides, you know what, I'm going to sign up under the Constitution Party, and because keep this in mind, Jeff, keep this in mind. We don't have a runoff for Senate after November. Whoever garners the most votes on the November 3rd election is the senator, even if they don't have a majority. This one won't go to runoff. So if Jamie Davis comes in at 48%, okay, and Julia Letlow comes in at 47%, and a third party candidate that would have otherwise been conservative comes in with that last 5%, if that's all it takes, then she's out.
Right. I mean, that's a good point. I don't see him getting more votes than her, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's certainly another factor to consider, that there's, that remote possibility. So, I mean, yeah, I agree. I wouldn't turn my back on him. I wouldn't take victory laps. I mean, I wouldn't go on vacations the next few months. It sounds like she's going to still keep the pedal to the metal. I mean, just think about her. I mean, she came from nowhere. I mean, she was not really well known.
Right.
Garnered all these endorsements. Was able to win comfortably both the primary and the runoff against well-liked, well-known, well-respected opponent in Dr. Fleming. So, she's to be given credit for her turnout, and it was just an incredible operation. She had so much financial support. I mean, it was just amazing. And the president,
well, the presidential nod is a pretty big one.
Yeah.
We're talking with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. All right, so that was just one race that was on the ballot on Saturday. Down your way, you had a PSC battle and a Bessie battle. Were you surprised by either outcome?
Well, the money won. I mean, all three candidates that had the most money won. I mean, that was the result. And what's interesting is all three of these candidates were the more liberal of the two in the runoff. Ms. Letlow is certainly more liberal than Dr. Fleming. Joseph Gow, who I've known for years, great guy.
Yeah.
But definitely more liberal than Ellie Schroeder. And Stephanie Hilfrey, arguably the most liberal Republican in the legislature, definitely more liberal than John Young, and they all won. The only close one really was for Bessie.
Yeah.
And she's an educator, and Joseph certainly did not have that background, but he had the governor behind him, and that was a huge deal. And in the PSC race, Stephanie Hilferty had a big pack behind her, New Horizons. It just pummeled John Young, and he didn't have a response for that. So it was, I guess, in one respect, sort of not surprising. Those three had the financial advantage, but in another respect, when you consider runoffs are more, you're more dedicated voter, turnout is lower. You think maybe the more conservative candidate would have the edge. Didn't happen in any of these races.
No, it did not. It's the PSC race was the one, because I know both of these candidates really, really well. I like Stephanie Hilferty a lot. I like John Young a lot. What do we do with John Young? How can we not find a guy who's got his resume, a guy who's got his skill set, talents, whatever you want to call it? How do we find him a good home to serve the public the way he'd like to?
Well, I mean, I was, and I've known him for a long time. He has great integrity, and he did do a fantastic job for Jefferson Parish. And he was painted in that campaign as corrupt, and that's just not accurate.
No.
And neither was the betrayal of Dr. Fleming. Obviously, driving a school bus of illegals to the
No,
border.
he did that. I was there.
That was that was so ridiculous. But that's and some voters see a lot of commercials and like, oh yeah, that's how we're going to vote. So I would hope John Young still stays active. I mean, he's I think he's still in his 60s. I mean, he still wants to serve. He's a very talented guy, and I agree. I mean, I hope he does look at some other options because he is, a talented person who's got a lot of ability.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's so Jefferson Parish, though. Like, I don't think he's done anything. He was an ADA, his parish council, and parish president, but I don't know that he's done anything outside of Jefferson Parish.
He ran, for other offices.
Sure.
The governor, and
yeah.
But right, that's where his fit was, and that's where he certainly, had his best moments in public service and for Jefferson Parish. And believe me, it's a parish that, it's had all kind of issues over the years, and he knows it backwards and forwards. I mean, next year is more elections in Jefferson Parish, council elections. I mean, maybe he'll say, all right, I'll try to run for council at large, because both council at large people in Jefferson are leaving. Scott Walker's not running again. Jennifer Van Rankin's going to run for parish president. So who knows? Maybe he'll run for another position next year. We'll see. I mean, I hope so, because I think he's a really good public servant.
Last one before we get you out of here, Jeff, and I want to hit the hot button issue right now. Dong Fong is selling 4th of July king cakes. Should there be king cakes for holidays that aren't Mardi Gras?
Most definitely.
No.
I mean, I'm a king cake lover. I mean, I love king cake. I love it year round. I mean, this place is going to have long lines.
Of course.
I mean, my wife and I are going to try to get out there and get some for the holiday, because I mean, it's special. I mean, they sell an amazing number of king cakes. I mean, I think, I go to the grocery and I see king cakes year round now. I think people are getting used to that. Of course, the traditionalists are saying you can't sell it outside of Mardi Gras between January 6th and Mardi Gras Day. But I mean, they've made a business model of having king cakes in different holidays.
I'll take it
very well.
Look, if you're willing to stand in line on Chef Mentor in July, good on you.
We're going to try to do it.
He's
Exactly.
Jeff Crouere, host to Ringside Politics. Always appreciate the time, brother. Happy 4th.
Okay, happy 4th.
Later on, man. Quick break, coming back next. Oh, shit. Oh. Ooh. That freaking guy. Whatever.
So with this, it's never an exact science. The traffic reports from the big four sky open to the traffic report to the close, we estimate to be about a minute. The traffic reports are not exact, so it could be a little short. It's a little short. He can fill.
And there could be a few second change depending on what it's going actually.
Yeah, so you may get close to us here.
In fact, let me know if there's 10 seconds here.
You're probably gonna have about 10 seconds.
Okay, go ahead, put my mic on.
Like with no rejoin music or anything?
Nothing, just cold.
Well, no, you're not
Oh,
gonna-
all right, never mind.
See,
That was a lot of tag on the end of that one.
so
That was 2 full spots.
it can come up anywhere probably from 30
Good morning, Christy. Welcome in, boo.
And if need be, he can fill. If it's a little late, we'll just kind of slowly fade into it late. But that's the only time we're gonna have a break before your money now. Most of the time we meet up with your money now and we break on the other way. So this is just the idea that it's a 3-minute window. If he breaks at 47, then you're gonna get your spots, your traffic report, that more than likely pretty close to going right into your money now. If he breaks because the interview's, the topic is continuing, let's say he broke there at 6:48 or 49, there's a chance that it's like I said, we always play the break, we'll always play the traffic, but it maybe instead of going into this report, maybe we pop it on at 6:51 and just clear that part. So you just, that's some flexibility you have where, okay, hey, Brian's going along with this interview, totally fine. Let's start the break at 6:48 or so and go right into the spots. It's an option. Just because it gives us a little flexibility. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. It just would be, I feel like, hard to do.
In which part?
Like, what if Ryan does his, I don't know, what if the interviews, it goes to like 6:47, 30 or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. Okay. Well, so we're not going to worry about that till we have to,
Right.
but we can adjust on the fly. If I end up going over 47, which I treat as a hard break, if I end up going over 47, I will take it all the way up to 50. And then you'll go straight into your money now, and then play the break on the back end of your money now. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I do my level best to either have it written on the sheet we're going to take it to 50, or let you know during. I try to get out, but
Ideally, the break runs before, but we always have flexibility.
652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Thanks again to Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, for hopping on board there. We got so much to get into here. We're going to talk about raises for teachers or stipends for teachers in just a minute. I don't want to fall behind, though. I want to remind you, ExxonMobil's been part of Louisiana for more than 115 years, standing at the intersection of energy and opportunity. Generations of families have built careers here, supported by a culture rooted in safety, innovation, and long-term commitment. Working in partnership with local leaders and stakeholders, landowners, and first responders, ExxonMobil has set the standard for prioritizing safety in Baton Rouge, investing for the future, and committing to the communities in which they operate. Now, what does investing for the future look like right now? Well, as Louisiana's energy economy continues to evolve to meet domestic and global demand, ExxonMobil is investing in technologies such as carbon capture and storage to help reduce emissions, strengthen industry, and bring new economic opportunities to communities across the state. This isn't about walking away from what built Louisiana, because energy doesn't just power today. It's about using what we know, using what ExxonMobil knows, using their experience to keep building what's next. If you want to learn where ExxonMobil is at and where they're headed with carbon capture and storage, visit aboutlaccs.com. If you've got questions about their intentions, visit aboutlaccs.com. If you want to learn more about what's next, visit aboutlaccs.com. Man, there's a news story this morning, y'all. 653 Talk 107.3 FM. There's a news story this morning that I'm having trouble not getting angry about because of the way everyone's writing it. let's take you first to our news partners at WBRZ, okay? Where I'm going to have to scroll back down the story because I had moved on to a different story in top stories and trending. But the story per our news partners at WBRZ, we're talking about giving teachers a pay raise, right? Per WBRZ, it says a judge on Monday lifted an order that blocked Governor Jeff Landry's plan to cut public school budgets to pay for teacher stipends. Take you over to The Advocate, where it says Governor Jeff Landry's plan to cut public school budgets to pay for teacher stipends can proceed after a judge lifted an order blocking the plan, which is set to take effect July 1st. Meanwhile, even over our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network say a Baton Rouge judge is allowing Governor Landry's plan to fund a $2,000 teacher stipend to move forward. That's the most objective sentence there is when it comes to the lead on this story. Sticking with our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network, and you heard this at the bottom of the hour this hour, Judge Chip Moore lifted the temporary restraining order that he had set after disqualifying the law firm representing the plaintiffs. Patrick Wall, an education reporter for The Advocate, says the state argued that the law firm, Baker Donaldson, could not be involved in the lawsuit against Louisiana while also representing the state in a separate case on the federal level. Cut 7, please.
The judge agreed with them and disqualified that firm from the case. And because of that, that also dissolved the temporary restraining order.
Now, that's great. That's objective. That is what happened across the board. Good on LRN for the way they're covering this. But I have an issue with the way this is making it sound like they're raiding school budgets. They're taking money from the MFP and giving it to teachers. What is the MFP, mind you? That's the minimum foundation program. Well, if you Google it, it says it's the state block grant that determines the cost of a baseline education program, distributed to local school systems to provide flexible funding meant to support the core operational and educational costs of running a school system. Is there anything more core to the operation of running a school system than good teachers? I think not. Is there anything more influential over a child's education than the teachers themselves? So it reduces the plan from Governor Landry reduces the MFP by $168 million. The money that gets knocked down from there will give teachers a $2,000 stipend, support staff $1,000. Wall says the plan results in a reduction of 4% or more in state funding for local school systems. Cut 8.
They're going to have to find savings at the local level to make up for that money.
Because it's going to teachers. It's not going away. It's going to teachers. Wall says the plaintiffs went to court on Monday, ready to argue that the legislature and the State Board of Education have jurisdiction over public school funding, not the governor. Landry's plan is set to take effect on July 1st, so that would be tomorrow. I don't think they have much time to make up ground on that front. Wall says the plaintiffs have a short time to react if they want to get in there. Cut 9.
There is a possibility they could try to file another motion, bring in a different law firm, and try again. But definitely they're racing against the clock right now.
Well, yeah, because they have all of today to get it done. So if they're able to get that done, you might see it. You might see a ruling on that today. I don't know that they will, though. But my whole thing is everywhere you've read this story, or everywhere I've read this story, I should say. I shouldn't say you. I should say me. But everywhere I've read the story, it makes it sound like money being given to teachers is not money being given to education. And I couldn't disagree more wholeheartedly. If you want to get down into the nitty-gritty, if you want to get down into the minutia of who's in charge of that funding, fine. That's a whole separate argument. But my argument is don't frame the story as if the governor's taking money away from the overall educational experience of the child. Because there is no more valuable spot for that money than in the hands of the teachers. There is no more better way to reward those who are educating our children than by saying, look, we're going to front you one more time. We're going to keep trying to go back to the drawing board, going to keep trying to find you the dollars that you deserve. And I mean, if people are going to vote down any actual change, you have to wonder if they ever want to change in the first place. We got news, traffic, and weather coming up in just a quick minute. Got to remind you about 180 Pros before we get out of here for this hour. 180pros.com is the website, 180pros.com. 330-2200 is the phone number. 180 Pros is not your IT provider. They can, however, be your IT partner. They're in it to win it, y'all. They're in it for you. When it comes to cybersecurity, when it comes to keeping your network up and running, when it comes to your business's success, that's how they judge their own success. Oh, by the way, simplified billing is a thing. It's a thing that's quite possible. Not getting nickel and dimed every time you call in. Yeah, that's a thing that's possible. Give them a call, 330-2200. You can learn a whole lot more about how they base their success off of your success, about how they plan to keep you safe in times of, well, cybersecurity is a headline every day, right? Learn more at 180pros.com. Hour two's next. This hour, you hit it. Play. I don't know why this hour is any different than the other two. Yeah. Hey, why is it that the ID for the 8 o'clock hour fires off on its own, but the ID at the 7 o'clock hour does not? Joe Teal says carbon capture. Well, it's like a bull and a poo-poo. Crazy good take, Joe. Way to rock it, man. Original. Oh, I don't. Well, I just like them consistent. Either they're all hard breaks or they're all fire off on your own.
Like, there's no reason. There was no like gotcha thing that I was like, I put it in there like a thing that is just so the others.
Really? Well, which way is it going to be? Is it going to be automatic or not automatic? Well, what is it going to, is ABC going to mute it? Like if you play the ID and ABC comes on, is it going to mute the back half of the ID or will they overlay? No, I know, but how it comes out the other side?
It'll be. It'll be muted either way if the next element to start the hour is hard time. Like
then the ID needs to be hard timed as well. Because if I don't if the back end of the ID is coming on at the same time as the ABC sounder and you can hear them both, that gives me a 1 second. Right.
And I can make that item like a non-hard time.
So we don't play ABC out of the board? Then why would it be hard timed? Why would it be hard timed? You said if the next element in the log is hard timed, it will mute the ID. Is ABC hard timed in the log?
Yeah, because like 8 o'clock is hard time from the top to advance.
We can talk about this after the. Hey, did I miss a text? Oh shit, my bad, man. All right, well, good. Hey, how's it going? I'm Brian. Nice to meet you. Let's knock out top stories and trending. We got coffee, we got waters out there if y'all want, and then we're coming your way. .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Wilton Landry producing. We are ready to rock and roll your second hour today. We're starting off at 76 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Starting off your second hour at 76 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. This hour, we've got Charleton Meginley coming in from the Department of Veterans Affairs. We've got Brian Henderson from the Ascension Parish Chamber. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. But before we get to anything else, you know how we start the hour. Well, top stories and trending. Bro. After years of planning, the state is taking a major step towards building a new bridge over the Mississippi River, with one state representative saying that a bridge location could be identified within the next year. I'm getting this from our news partners at WBRZ, by the way. State and local leaders met Monday for an update on the project status before construction can begin. The main focus of the meeting was to find a way to pay for the massive project. State Representative Dixon McMakin, who also occasionally hosts Mornings Without Brian Haldane, says that developing a financing plan could help move the project along. Bottom line, though, we're now looking at within a year, potentially, to have those 3 locations knocked down to 1. Baton Rouge police and the FBI are preparing to search a landfill for the body of 15-year-old Jadarius Manyweather, with the physical search expected to begin around July 13th. Now, that's 2 weeks away. So why wait that long? Well, they're not just digging through trash here. They have to work logistics on moving large piles at a time. Baton Rouge Fire Chief Michael Kimball compared the process to the search for identifying details after the Twin Towers collapsed. In an effort to ease traffic congestion, the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development is introducing an AI-powered queue detection system along I-12 in Denham Springs. The system gives drivers a heads up before they get to the congestion in the hopes to reduce rear-end collisions or maybe even allow for rerouting. A 35-year-old was shot and killed in an apartment complex along Cadillac Street early Monday morning. Anthony Tyler was found shot at the Zion Terrace Apartments, which are near Breck's Fortune Edition Park, which, by the way, just a couple of 100 yards away from another shooting that happened the day before. Those two are not related. Tyler did die at the scene. Yesterday, Judge Chip Moore lifted an order that blocked Governor Jeff Landry's plan to move some money around within the schools to give teachers a stipend. Would have given $2,000 to teachers, $1,000 to public school, $1,000 to public school support staff. This is 51,000 teachers and 40,000 support staff. It would have taken $168 million to get it done. If there's going to be another roadblock here, it's going to have to happen today. What you got, Wilton?
Got a few trending stories for you today, Brian. First up, national news. In a controversial 5-4 decision yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled that late arriving mail-in ballots can still be counted as long as they are postmarked by Election Day.
Yeah, it's so, like, leaving out that last part is so disingenuous. Like, if you want to argue against mail-in ballots altogether, that's a separate argument. If you want to argue in favor of the Save America Act, co-sponsored by Bill Cassidy, that's a separate argument, okay? I'm all in favor of hearing that argument. But what the Supreme Court ruled on was the way the law is written, not the way you'd like to see the law. And that is two separate things completely. To be able to say, they just can't rewrite the law to say no mail-in ballots. That's not up to the Supreme Court to do. That's not what their job description is. If you don't like the law, speak with your legislator. They change the laws.
Getting a little bit more local now. The folks in St. Tammany Parish will be adding the sheriff's race to their November ballot. This is coming in the wake of Sheriff Randy Smith resigning after getting into a fist fight at a steakhouse in Madisonville.
I'm to the point now where I'm just like, if you want to be sheriff of St. Tammany Parish, instead of a debate, they should just have a fight. Like, just... We'll
the old-fashioned way.
We'll all meet behind Batto's in Madisonville. Is there even still a Batto's? There's not a Batto's in Madisonville. That's long since gone. We'll meet behind Batto's, and then we'll all have chocolate malts afterwards. But the winner gets to be sheriff. How about it?
That might work for them, honestly. St. Tammany Parish, you never know. Third up on the trending stories, following our shark alligator rule.
Yep.
For you guys this morning, a 28-year-old Mexican man was attacked and killed by a crocodile and dragged out to sea. His body and the crocodile were both found. And so you were telling me last hour this is a bit abnormal for the crocodiles in that area.
Yes.
Outside of their usual territories. Basically.
They normally stay, because you have American crocodiles in Puerto Vallarta. They normally stay like upstream. They normally stay in the rivers and estuaries, quieter places, not on the populated beaches and whatnot. This is unbelievably rare for a crocodile, A, to be on the populated beach, and B, to drag a dude out to sea. Like, that's just ridiculous.
That's crazy. I mean, a shark attack is one thing, shark bite,
right?
But like, I gotta imagine it's much more like violent with the crocodile coming up in the shallower part, probably. Like, they can go on land and everything. Oh my gosh.
I know. It's right. They go up on land and drag you out to sea. A shark,
it's not because they mistake you for a seal.
We have an unwritten contract with sharks, right?
Right.
We don't go in their water; they won't attack us. But a crocodile, all bets are off. You've got no out of bounds.
They're looking for dinner.
You can't say, I'm on base, I'm safe. No. It's like with a shark, if you see land right there, you could swim to land. With a crocodile, even once you get on land, you're still not done. And by the way, I was surprised to learn that they had American crocodiles in Puerto Vallarta, because that's on the western side of Mexico. As I understand it, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm a bit of a crocophile. That's my Joe Dirt for today. Florida is the only place that has the American crocodiles in America. So for them to get all the way to the west side of Mexico, I find very curious. It's 7:11 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Give me a quick second to remind you about the folks over at Industry Makes. IndustryMakes.org is the website, IndustryMakes.org. Here for the businesses up and down the river, as a concerted voice, or as I like to call it, the return serve when the attacks come in. And the attacks do come in. And who's speaking up for industry as a whole? Well, from the shoes on our feet to the products essential to healthcare, Louisiana's industries are in the business of making everything out there, not to mention employing our neighbors, right? So they just can't sit on the sideline and make the products the world needs and have people attacking them on the regular. Where is the return serve? That's where IndustryMakes.org comes in. Get your ambassador's toolkit, bust a few myths, learn a little bit more about what they do when you visit IndustryMakes.org. We're talking Veterans Affairs next. Yo, man. You what? Thank you.
I think Hodges is going to announce, if he hasn't already. I've been out of the loop a little bit, but
who's in charge right now?
it's the interim.
But I thought the interim stepped down and another interim came in.
Oh, I don't know. I've been in Hawaii, and then I got home from Hawaii, and then I went back to DC. So I just got back to DC yesterday. So
okay,
I don't know, but I think Hodges would be a very solid individual to do it.
I got a couple friends that work for St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office, and they tend to think that they're in good hands right now with the interim. So it's probably going to be whoever carries over into the fall. All right.
Where you want me?
Right there. Oh, I hadn't seen you since DC.
I know. Well, neither has my wife, except for Hawaii.
No, I'm at DC Mardi Gras.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
We've been all over the place. If I'm not there, he's there. If we're not there, the undersec's there. So I mean, it's been nonstop. And then I go back to DC on Fridays.
How you been? I've been good. Yeah, just show's fire. Content's where I want it to be. Sponsors are almost where I want them to be. It's your show is fun. You what?
It's fun.
Thank you.
Because we'll listen to it when we're coming in. And it's not stuffy.
That's the aim. No. 7:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. America's 250th birthday is coming up later on this week, so it's time to start telling a few stories about that, some of the things that are going on surrounding that. The last time I had this guy on, we were at Washington Mardi Gras, and I was butchering his name every way possible. From Charleton Meginley, I think is what I started out before getting finally around to Charleton Meginley. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having
Let's
me.
get you right up on there. Glad to have you back in. There are a couple of different things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk a little America 250 in a little bit.
Great.
But so I had a guest on last week, Will Hubbard. He's the veteran policy leader, and he's a Marine veteran as well. Veteran policy leader for, what is the name of his outfit again? From a group called Veterans Education Success.
Okay.
There's some changes that are being proposed to the GI Bill that he took issue with, that he thought would actually be more detrimental to the what do we have? Just shy of 250,000 vets in Louisiana.
That's about it.
245,000.
Yeah.
And so I forwarded you the interview, and I said, I want you to break this down and give me your take on it. What were your takeaways?
So he raises some really good points. One of the biggest things that we kind of that got our attention was the notion of the apprenticeships.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you a little bit of background though on the GI Bill, because you need to understand the GI Bill before we can get to the apprenticeship.
Go for it. Yeah.
So in the state of Louisiana right now, we have about 12,000 so veteran and their families who are using the GI Bill. Okay, GI Bill, big money in the state of Louisiana. We're talking about a $200 million impact in this state.
Mm-hmm.
So the GI Bill, arguably right now for most veterans, is worth over $100,000 for 4 years.
Okay.
So we're talking. I think the GI Bill is arguably one of the most important benefits that you can get as a veteran.
Okay.
All right. And so, you know, when most people think of the GI Bill benefit, they think of traditional 4-year colleges,
Sure,
and then trade schools, because
Right.
you can use it at a trade school. So I think there was some merit to what he had to say when it came to apprenticeships, because you're taking these companies, you're going to use your GI Bill at these apprenticeships. What is the value? What is the benefit of using your GI Bill at the apprenticeship?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me tell you this: when a school or a trade outfit, or in this case the apprenticeship program, asked to be part of the GI Bill program, we have an agency within our state government office called the State Approving Agency.
Okay.
We receive federal funds for what we call the SSA. And they go in and they look at each of these programs to see if they're going to be legitimate. And so they run the checks, make sure the ethical stuff, make sure the legal. And of course, we look and see what the VA has recommended. And we try to follow the VA, or we do follow the VA guidelines that they give us.
Mm-hmm.
And so if an entity is taking the GI Bill, we've looked at them to make sure that they're legitimate. So I think the veteran can take some solace in that.
Okay, but well, yeah, just to rewind the clock back to the last interview. One of the points of contention was that if a veteran either attends or pays for a school that was unaccredited or ran afoul, he loses all of his benefits.
Right.
The likelihood of that happening, because of y'all's guidance, the likelihood of that happening becomes very slim. Is that what you're saying? Okay,
Correct.
all right. Continue.
But you know, from a practical standpoint, if I was talking to any veteran, I would tell them first and foremost, you want to make sure that you're going to an accredited school,
Sure.
or to an accredited program,
Mhm.
because you're going to get a lot more confidence about what you're going to be receiving in terms of education, and then who's going to accept your educational program when you're looking for a job.
Right.
To me, there's no substitute for it. On the apprenticeship program, though, that the VA and what this individual was talking about, I think he was absolutely right, though, that to suggest that veterans should be very concerned. You don't want to go to an online program for welding.
Right.
Welding is a program that you need to have hands on.
Yes.
Okay. Now you can do some programs online. I was a criminal justice major in college. You
Mhm.
can do an online criminal justice
Yes, you
program.
can.
That's it. But you're not going to be able to learn how to shoot online.
Right.
You're going to have to get out there and do it. So when you're talking about apprenticeships, we're talking about blue collar jobs. You want to have the hands-on experience as a plumber, as a welder, even as a computer engineer. You need to be able to touch the computer so you can see what's going on.
Right.
And so he is absolutely right to raise those concerns. And veterans who are doing online only programs should have pause. Like, what am I going to get in terms of?
Well, but this is exactly why I thought of you while doing this interview, because I really felt like there is guidance out there to make sure the things that he was worried about, like an online welding program, the things that he worried about, there's guidance to avoid those from the start.
That's right.
So if it's written into the changes in the GI Bill, they're not going to run afoul of that, provided they're coming to you.
Correct.
Or the state's VA department.
That's right. And so we approved those GI Bill programs through the VA.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, practically speaking, if we've approved it through my agency, the
Mhm.
veteran should be okay with it. But then there's the other side of it saying, hey, look, $100,000 bill, $100,000 benefit. Are you sure this is how you want to use it? Because
Right.
once you lose it, that's it. And the GI Bill has been life-changing for so many veterans. I mean, think about post-World War II. The GI Bill transformed the American economy when all these GIs came back from war.
Into the greatest power. That's what turned the nation. It wasn't just winning the war. It's what we did once everybody got home that made us what we are.
That's right. We had to put all these GIs, to work or get them the education. GI Bill comes into play.
Yes.
We have a highly educated workforce, transforms the nation.
Charleton Meginley is with us. He heads up Veterans Affairs here in Louisiana, talking a little bit about the potential changes to the GI Bill. One of the questions that I asked William Hubbard last week was, all in, when you look at the proposed changes and even with concerns, I said, is it worth throwing out the baby with the bathwater, or will the GI Bill be stronger on the back end than the way it is right now? His take was it's close, but he would rather it's close, but it's not worth it with the changes coming. Do you disagree with that?
A little bit. I think
Yeah.
we have to, legislation has to continue to evolve with the veteran, and not just the veteran, but the citizen.
Mhm.
This is any legislation. And so as you see continuing opportunities, you have to be able to make those transitions and those changes for all people.
Mhm.
And if we see out there that there are veterans who could benefit from these programs in a non-traditional aspect, and I think that's a lot of the issue right now with GI Bill. People think of going to that traditional 4-year college or a trade school.
Right.
We're talking about outside the box to take care of veterans. Look, the reality is many people are not going to go to a 4-year college.
Right.
Okay. So can we help them meet their needs through other alternative forms?
Mhm.
And in my opinion, if this helps a veteran, so be it. With the caveat, every veteran needs to be aware of the type of program that they're going. They need to do their homework. They need to do the interviews. Is this the best thing for me that's going to help me have a life-changing job down
All
the
right. Now
road?
let me ask you about your job, because a lot of that means they have to know where to go to guidance.
Right.
How strong is the network to make sure that our veterans know where they're headed before they know where they're headed?
Well, again, those entities, those apprenticeships, those programs will have to come through my office to get
Right.
the approval.
Right. So what are we doing to make sure your office gets to the veteran? Are we saturated when it comes with the whole information chain back and forth?
I think once the veteran receives word that program has been approved for the GI Bill, we have had the opportunity to review the program and bless it.
Mhm.
They can take solace in that.
One more that I had an issue with, and I know this is kind of a little bit disjointed. If you didn't hear the previous interview, I'm doing my best to make sure that we're covered with the background information. But I had asked Will about jobs that are learned while serving. There are a number of skills that are picked up along the way while you're serving, whether it's mechanic skills, electrical skills, whatever, different levels of engineering and whatnot, and how applicable they would be to making the apprenticeships on the back end easier. He seemed to downplay that as if
I definitely wouldn't. I mean, think about this. My boss and his entire cabinet and team have brought in $110 billion of capital in the state of Louisiana right now.
Yeah.
We are one of the few states. We've got jobs for welders. We've got jobs for plumbers. We've got jobs for blue collar men and women who are coming out of the service. And I think there's a huge opportunity for these companies to use that apprenticeship program to get, to bring them in,
Mhm.
teach them what they need to do, and then keep them with the company. So I don't know if I would necessarily downplay it, especially right now at this point in time for the state of Louisiana.
Well, no, I guess let me re-ask the question. I'm saying, where did they learn those? Let's stick with welding because that seems to be the popular one. Is welding something you can learn while serving and then just get certified in it once you're you got to have the right paperwork for jobs out in the world there. is it's one of the skills that you can learn while serving your nation.
Oh yeah.
That you just have to get. It's a matter of formality at that point. You walk into the program, you walk into the community college, the technical college, already knowing half of it. You can probably teach half the classes at that point.
Every what we call AFSC or MOS, your job description, right, in the military.
Yeah.
Those things are all going to transform. Just like, if a nurse, right? If you became a nurse in the military, that's going to transform. You just got to get your license just to make sure that you're competent, which of course the military is incredible at training our folks.
Yeah.
And so all this stuff is going to transfer within that apprenticeship program. And oftentimes the apprenticeship program is just making sure that you've got the licenses, you've got any local rules that need to be taken care of. But, making sure that the employer, hey, let's make sure that you can be the apprentice for these things that we need you to do. Because look, sometimes in the military working on tanks isn't going to transform to working on whatever that local product is.
Unless you drive a Volvo. Yeah.
Sure. Fair enough.
No, but my whole point on that was like certifications are one thing, knowledge is another.
Right.
If you walk into the certification process with the knowledge to begin with, which is what the military is going to give you, you're one step away from the finish line. That was my whole point.
And I would concur with that.
America 250. We're coming up on the 250th birthday. You just got home from Washington, D.C.
I did.
What's going on?
So I went up to D.C. over the weekend for the state fair, which is happening right now on the National Mall grounds. It's there for 16 days. I think today is day 5. Sunday was Military and Veterans Day. And I will tell you, I think we were the only state that brought up a military and veteran team.
You're kidding.
I'm not. We walked around to each of the states to see what everybody else was doing. Most states had a generic, more of a tourism kind of feel to their pavilion. I was throwing beads. Our Louisiana National Guard partners were there. The Boot was there. The Boots are the 501c with who's bringing back veterans and service members back to Louisiana, put them to work. And so we had
brilliant program, by the way.
It's a brilliant program. Proud to be a part of it. And so we were the ones who were out there talking to the veteran population that no other state was doing. And what an incredible opportunity. I know for a fact that we talked to dozens of veterans who had never even thought about getting their benefits. And so in my opinion, when I show up at a place, if I help one veteran get their benefits, then it's worth it for me to show up, just like my deputy, undersecretary, anybody of our team, because that's life-changing money for the veteran. But it's also great money for the economy.
Yeah.
And so lots going on in D.C. Of course, things are going to ramp up this week. 4th of July is going to be on Saturday. And I would encourage every Louisianan to look up, I think it's the America 250 for Louisiana website.
Okay.
They've started putting lists of events all over the weekend. I know Baton Rouge has got some things.
Oh, yeah.
St. Tammany's got some things where I live. But yeah, you definitely want to be a part of the community, for this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a big deal. And there's so much going on right now where Americans are actually feeling a little bit of American pride.
It is.
And it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, and what I would tell all your listeners is this: Louisiana is not a footnote in this. We
doubled the nation in size, is what we did,
right? But we are a major chapter in America's history. I tell people this, and a lot of people don't know that. In my opinion, in Charleton Meginley's opinion, the preparation for World War II happened in Alexandria with the Louisiana maneuvers, 1941, pre-September 1941.
A little bit in Lake Pontchartrain too. Oh, by the way,
sure. But the maneuvers,
right.
When all of the major Army generals showed up in Louisiana, to prep for what they knew was going to be the upcoming war, got started in Alexandria. You think of what New Orleans' contribution. I mean, Louisiana played a significant role in saving this country from the worst entity, the worst group of people, the worst dictator the world had ever seen.
Well, it's. You look at DC right now, okay? We have the Speaker of the House, we have Scalise with the head on top of the party, and we say, Louisiana's out punching its weight class. We've always done that.
We always have.
It's not new.
It's just a little bit more visible right now. And my boss is always talking to the president. I mean, right now the connections that we have with Washington D.C. It's why people are talking about Louisiana.
Yeah. We're straight out of time. I need to get you back on because I want to talk mental health. It's like as soon as we can. We'll talk during the break. But Charleton Meginley, always appreciate the time, man. Great stuff as always. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man.
No, always. We guys, speaking of mental health, before we take our break, I want to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is their website. Neurojust, neurojust.com. I was over there yesterday. I got to try on or take a test drive with the TMS therapy. Put the thing on my head, did the little pulses and whatnot. I got to tell you, when they say non-invasive, it's about as non-invasive as it can be. The mood is relaxing from the moment you walk through the front door. The staff is on point. You are going to get in the right direction. So if you or someone you know is battling with anxiety or depression, I can't recommend highly enough starting at neurojust.com. They are working very, very hard. And I want to have a conversation with you and them about this. It is super huge for PTSD to be able to, when you can be triggered by, PTSD has a lot of like triggers that dial you right back into your immediate trauma. And what they do, it's called TMS therapy, transcranial magnetic stimulation. Basically, you just put this little thing on your head, and it feels like a bunch of little taps on your head, and it doesn't. It literally feels like someone's tapping you on the head. And it's.
I think so, but I'm familiar with it.
So okay, well, yeah, Neurojust. They've got a clinic, and they're looking to open one, and they're going to be opening one in Mandeville very soon. But they're in New Orleans. They're here in Baton Rouge, and these are guys who like actually give a shit about results, and not about just writing a prescription to somebody and sending them on their way. I mean, it's just like if you break your leg, and you take a pain pill, your leg is still broken. The same is true with antidepressants. This extends a magnetic pulse that helps trigger the part of the brain that regulates mood, which regulates the reaction to trauma. It's amazing stuff. But I do want to have the mental health conversation overall. So, yeah. Oh, my brother, where are you at? No kidding. San Antonio taught us. Yeah, they missioned us. So I was Our Lady of Mercy's second acts. So the first one was all San Antonio. The second was half San Antonio. So yes.
Doc and I are KCs at St. Peter's.
Who has acts now? Which so I grew up in Covington. I went to St. Paul's. Okay, so after I was on Acts 2, team 3, 4, and 6, directed 8, then missioned Immaculate Conception out in Denham Springs, and I said, "There's one more thing I want to do with Acts," and then I want to mission back home. I want to mission back, and so we go on vacation last year. I wanted to mission St. Peter's because that was my parish growing up. We went on vacation last year, did a little RV trip through a couple of state parks. And on our way to Bogachita Park, we went to Mass at St. Peter's, and there's this group of dudes sitting up at the front, all wearing suits. It was the commissioning Mass. Yes, we just happened to be there on that day. Dude, I was all tears. I was like, okay, it's back home now. This is awesome. This is so good. Let's go! I love it. I don't throw the term life-changing around very often, but that's what it was. So, yeah.
I'll give you a call later. I talked to Jeff.
Do what?
I talked to Jeff about everything we were talking about.
Likewise, brother. Whoa. Do mine real quick. Number 3. Give me one more second. Sorry. I'm texting the governor's person. It's taking you out to Ascension Parish in just a quick second. 737 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Boy, if you've been listening to the whole show this morning, this is funny. I'll give you just one quick moment of personal privilege. The governor tweeted 15 minutes ago, once again, the media is misleading the public. Shame on them. We are not cutting public school funding, period. Last time I checked, teachers are part of the public school budget. Do teachers not deserve a pay raise? Not a single dollar is being taken away from public education. We're investing in teachers, not bureaucracy. The facts are simple, and the media should start reporting them. Stop stealing my takes, Governor. That was my 6:50 segment this morning. Like, word for word. Well, not word for word, but darn close. Is there no greater resource in a classroom than a teacher? Was my whole take. So glad the governor's on board with me. That's always a good thing. All right, time to head out to Ascension Parish and talk about the Utes. The what? The Young Ascension Professionals Program. We have got Brian Henderson on the hotline with us right now. How are you, sir?
I am doing great. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome aboard. Tell me about YAP. What's it all about?
So, Young Ascension Professionals, we started this back in August of 2023. And really, we developed it because there were a lot of networking opportunities in Ascension, ways for people to connect, but there was nothing that was specifically geared towards young professionals and having content that was specifically geared towards them, and then allowing them, a way to get connected and become more involved in the community. So we have a lot of people that I believe are looking for professional development and networking opportunities. But also, it's just hard to make friends as an adult sometimes. So every social that we do, which is on a monthly basis, we always have that first 45 minutes to an hour where everybody can just get together, talk. It's just strictly a networking part of it. And we have our committee that is there to help facilitate conversations or to help people if they have never been or if it's a little intimidating, to help get them integrated into the group. And it has really taken off since we started. We started with nothing, and now we have a group of, it's a little over 800 people at this point that we've had come to our socials over the past 3 years. And on a monthly basis, we generally average 50 to 60 people. But we do have two of our larger events that we get a little over 200 people at. And so it's one of those things that is there to kind of meet people at the earlier stage of their career, but we really focus content towards that 21 to 40, which provides a great mix of those that are in the early stages of a career, and then those that are certainly not at the end, but they're more mature in their career. So they're able to provide a lot of good advice and feedback and mentorship just kind of organically that way.
Yeah.
So it's been really incredible to be a part of.
What makes the content geared that way? Because, I mean, a lot of us, when we think, you look at the professional world, you look at the business world, and it's like business is business. So what makes young business different?
I don't necessarily know that, young business is different. It's just more of the topics that we're trying to focus on. So,
right. Give me some examples.
We've done like emotional intelligence. So we've had Dr. Dana Hart from LSU. He's come out and talked about that.
Okay.
We've had somebody come and talk about how do you network and how do you meet new people whenever you go somewhere. We've talked about the different leadership styles, about building out your personal brand, specifically how to better utilize social media for your personal brand, financial literacy, understanding credit. We've covered a lot.
I love the variety of topics is pretty incredible. So when you talk about 21 to 40-year-olds, who's within that? Who's normally coming to this?
So I would say we're probably more averaging like in the early 30s is probably the majority of who's there. But you know, it's from people from all over the place. Like we have small businesses or people that are from large industries. So you know, we've got engineers, teachers, healthcare professionals, bankers, construction, manufacturing. I mean, it is just about everything is represented there, which really helps from that ability to, you know, expand your personal network, whether you're there because you're trying to meet people, you know, for work, you're looking for those professional connections, or you're just trying to meet different people in general. You get a wide range of those that are there.
Brian Henderson with the Ascension Chamber is our guest. Talk about the young Ascension Professionals program. Brian, I'm gonna hit you with this one because this is probably the most difficult to walk through. Okay. Yes, we all want more opportunities to network. Yes, it's difficult to meet people as an adult. And at the same time, though, don't sell me something. Like, how do you walk that balance of networking without it being like, and my apologies to every salesperson in the audience, but how do you do this without it being all salesy?
Yeah, it's I think it's because we're not selling anything. This is just, our goal is just to create a very relaxed and organic atmosphere where people just come together. There is no pitch. It's free. We don't need people to pay for anything. You don't have to be a part of the chamber for it. So we're not, you know, there's no product to give. And I think that is really a component of the success of it, is that us, the committee that is doing this, it is just 7 people that come together to see this as a need, and we're just volunteering our time as a way to put things together of, I wish that I would have learned this, or this is something that we just did at, you know, my company that I think would be really helpful for everybody else. And that, I think that the fact that there's no pitch, that is the biggest part of it.
I didn't mean a pitch from y'all. I'm in amongst each other. Like every conversation out there, everybody who's in there is a professional. Okay. Therefore, everybody who's in that room is a professional. So everybody has a product or service that they're a professional in. So like, it's, yeah, I want to go, but like, is everybody I shake hands with can be trying to, like, you know, sell me?
I don't see that as a problem. That has not been something that I've experienced with it. And I think that once you get in there and you just start talking with everybody, that yes, it is designed as a networking space, but it really just becomes more about getting to know each other and just more personal conversations and not so much about work. Now, what I have had is that, you know, people will meet outside of this, and that it may, you know, transition into more of a work mode, but you know, we generally have you know, food and drinks that are there, and, you know, just there's enough people going around that there's not really an opportunity at that time for you to get into an in-depth like sales pitch conversation. Right. It's just more of, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is where I work, and then it transitions into more of a personal conversation from there.
Very, very cool stuff. All right, so what are some of the upcoming events and opportunities that folks can get involved with?
So the next one that we have is on July 14th. It's going to be at Back Nine Golf in Ascension. That one's going to be from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And for the first part of it, which is our standard Gap social, is from 5 to 7. We're going to have Ricky Compton with the Ascension Parish Government, the Chief Administrative Officer. Yeah. He's going to give us just a state of the parish update of what's going on and what's coming up. And then from that 7 to 9, the Back Nine Golf, they have graciously offered for us to be able to golf there. Cool. So from 7 to 9, it's just going to be free golf for you to hang out, and you're not required to golf. You can just stay and network. And then our largest event of the year is our annual murder mystery social that we do. So that's going to be on August 7th. It's from 6 to 10. And this year we are having it at the old Governor's Mansion in downtown Baton Rouge.
That is so cool. So, okay, scale that out because it's your biggest event of the year, but it's a huge murder mystery. Like, how do you work a murder? Because I've done a couple murder mysteries as like a dinner party for 10, but not for a whole community group.
So we actually have somebody on our committee, Nick Snakesnyder, with McKim and Creed. So one of his passions that we did not know about is that he loves to write murder mysteries, and he started doing it for just parties at his house of 10. And the first year we did it for about 50 people, and it went really well. Last year we did for about 125, and then this year he's ramped it up to 200.
Wow.
And I mean, it is just incredible. He put so much thought and detail into this that as soon as you think you know what's going on, there's a complete plot twist at the end. And it is what we would do before. The first 2 years, we would have people come, and then we would just randomly pair them up in groups of 8. So you were forced to work with people that you likely didn't know or didn't know well.
Right.
But this year, we've changed it. And so now we're going to let you pick your own team of 8 for it. And so that way you can work with your group. And some of the feedback that we were getting was that some companies wanted to use this as like a team building exercise after they came the first year. So we've done that. And so I think this is going to be just a really, really cool change. We're using both floors of the mansion. It's going to be 1930s themed, about Huey P. Long. And so the mansion is just the perfect place to have this.
He is Brian Henderson with the Ascension Parish Chamber. Where can folks go if they want to learn more about the murder mystery or some of the other events coming up?
Anything that you want to know, you can find it on the Ascension Chamber's website on the event tab. You can find us on Facebook. That's probably where we put the majority of our content, either under the Ascension Chambers page, or you can look up Young Ascension Professionals.
Brian Henderson, appreciate a couple minutes this morning, man. Good stuff. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.
Absolutely. We got Your Money Now coming up in just a little bit. Want to remind you about David Duvall and his team over at One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website to tap into David's 30 years plus of experience, to tap into David's expertise, to tap into David's ability to transform your space. Take a look around your bathroom. How old is it? How out of date is it? Go to OneBathAndClosets.com, scroll through a couple pictures, then go back to your bathroom. Now, how old is it? How out of date is it? Is it time for a refresh? Same's true with your closets, by the way. You can call them at 400-8005, 400-8005, or visit OneBathAndClosets.com. Mary? Bro.
I'm laughing. Why? I want my freaking commission on the Exxon commercial. What's that? Storage, carbon capture storage. Oh. You were doing it, I was laughing. I want the commission on that. They buy y'all because of my dumb ass.
Oh. No. Oh, so I can do the counter voice, right?
No. What I'm laughing is that it was a commercial and stuff. When you put it on and I heard it again, and I just laughed. Tell God I want my freaking commission.
Absolutely.
They buying y'all because all the shit I say. And I'm just laughing. I thought that was a great Exxon. Shit. That's money.
Well, and
that's real money.
It's an informational campaign. It's about LACCS.com. It's like if you have questions you want answered, if you want to believe what you want to believe, if you want to have a political take on carbon capture, fine. But if you want straight facts.
Carbon capture storage. Not carbon capture sequestration. It is that is smart.
Yeah.
That ain't saying carbon capture because somebody else said CCS. Carbon capture sequestration. What's the difference between that and storage? Now, just I know it ain't, but to somebody who just hears this, you know, most people just hear shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I laughed. I said that's good. I mean, look, I'm a realist. I already told y'all, and I told you at the coin when we had the said I've lost that on. I can get off that thing. That's over. The money's won on that. It don't matter what's right, wrong, bad, good. It's coming. It's here. It ain't coming shit.
Yeah.
I just laughed. When you said it, I laughed.
What time did you start listening this morning?
Well, when I got within range on this side.
Did you hear me talk about teachers?
No. I missed that point. You know why? I got a phone call from my mom.
Okay.
And it was either listen to you or talk to my mom.
governor wanted a teacher's pay raise. Every media outlet out there is saying he's taking money from the budget. He's taking money from education in order to give it to teachers. I'm like, teachers are education. So 650, I did a whole like rant about that, right? Governor comes back out 29 minutes ago. So almost immediately after my segment, Governor Landry posts this. Last time I checked, teachers are part of the public school budget.
That's exactly what you said.
Kate texted it to me. Kate texted it to me. She sent that over to me, and I sent it back. Stop stealing my takes.
Tell me, David, you should have said, look, you can have anything I got, but I should be compensated.
Right.
And that's what you do. Hey, I told you what I said to you. Let up. She fell out laughing.
Oh, I bet.
And then so I said, she's really nice. I've never had anything. But I said to Crouere, he said, Zach Works, thank you for the kind words you said yesterday. He said, I appreciate it. I look forward to working with you on the same team again. He just fell out laughing. Nice. And then, of course, he said, we got to get Jeff reelected. And so I'm not worried about them because I didn't. Jeff's walking in. Unless they got at least 3 candidates with about 3 or 4 million apiece. And then even that, they might not be.
Well,
I think Jeff's the next governor. I don't think he's close.
I will say this. I think you and Scott McKay yesterday, a little bit overconfident about Julia. And I'm going to tell you why.
Overconfident about Julia?
Yeah, it's not going to be a walk this November. It's not. If a third party, if a Constitution Party candidate shows up, want to be all anti-carbon capture, want to be like, hey, if you were on board with Fleming, come with me. We got to remember, there's no runoff after November. Who wins?
I get all that, Brian, but I'm telling you, when you got 5 of the 6 congressional race people start showing up, they're going to vote for Julia. They're going to vote for the Republican and vote for Julia. But even if some of them don't vote for Julia, somebody like that is not going to have any money. You saw what money does. Julia has all the money, no matter who comes in. When I say walk in, I think she's 65 or 7. I just think that's what she's going to fall. Even on the bad 65. But even she get 50% of wins. She wins. And it's over. Don't matter.
That's my worry. Is if Jamie Davis can get over 40, now he's in play. Because if you have a third party candidate can get 6 or 7%, if that 6 or 7% is going to come from her, not him.
But think about this, though. To get the black vote out, you better have money. Where's the money coming from? There's nobody in this. Nobody. Trial lawyers are behind Julia. And let me tell you why. They can't win this race, but they think they can win Texas. They think they got to win Georgia. That money ain't coming.
Texas, get no soft seat back in Georgia. North Carolina, Ohio, and Maine. That's where the Republican national money is going to go.
I know, but that's where Democrat money's going to. Julia's going to have money. Here's why. CCS, the trial lawyers were good, and the gambler. You're going to have money for her. I promise you.
I hope you're right.
Oh, what's up, bud? I got a face for yeah, face for radio. Always said that. Anyway, thanks. Thanks, Brian. We had fun.
Yeah, always, brother. Bro. 7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Moon Graffon's going to be in studio 9 to noon today. You know where to find him on your radio dial, not just here in Baton Rouge. He's on statewide. So when you are bumping around Louisiana outside of Baton Rouge, you're going to find him somewhere up and down the dial. But his home right here in Baton Rouge is Talk 107.3 FM. 9 till noon. Moon will be live with us in studio. So, had the wrong story there. A little bit more follow-up on the Senate race that was. Actually, a little bit more follow-up on the Senate race that was in just a quick second. Do need to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com. We got a fantastic airport right there in our own backyard. Love using the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. The daily flight to our nation's capital. It flies into Reagan National in D.C. every single day. Wheels up at 7 o'clock. You come home same day. You don't even have to book a hotel room in Washington, D.C. unless you absolutely want to. So if you want to get a sneak peek at America 250 for a day, go up there, walk the mall a little bit. You could do so by flying out at flybtr.com. All right. So Congresswoman Julia Letlow picked up just shy of 180,000 votes on Saturday. 156,000 headed over towards, on the Democrat side, towards Tensas Parish farmer Jamie Davis in the Democratic Party primary runoff. Davis, talking with our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network, said, I'm sorry, not with Davis. Davis believes he can make a competitive election on November 3rd. Pearson Cross from ULM talked with our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. He does not give Davis much of a chance. Cut 10, please.
He doesn't have any name recognition. He's likely not going to have any money. The National Party's not going to invest in him because they don't think he probably has a chance based on past performance.
I question the name recognition part of this. Yes, he's from Tensaw Parish, home of like 8 people and 1,000 cows. I get that. Tensaw Parish was the last parish to get COVID just because nobody lives there. Like that's the legit thing. That rewind the clock back to 2020. I remember checking off the map parish by parish. Tensaw was the last one. But I don't believe that name recognition is a problem in this day and age. I don't believe that name recognition is a problem in a space where social media is so powerful. And I can say that confidently for 2 reasons. Number one, didn't we all say Julia Letlow had name recognition problems going into the Senate race? And then look who's on top. Now, as far as the money's concerned, I don't necessarily disagree with that end, but I will make the point again. I do not believe that Republicans should be overconfident right now. We've still got 4 months to go before the November general election. Cross says Letlow's going to spend this time making sure Republican voters are fully behind her. Cut 11.
I think the main thing to do would be to go around and reassure people, try to pull the Fleming people behind her. There are a lot of people who voted against her.
The problem there, and this is, I believe it's a Mark Twain quote, or at least Mark Twain's the one that gets attribution for it. It is infinitely more difficult to convince someone they've been fooled than to fool them in the first place. Once someone is on board with someone else, getting them to back down and change course is a difficult thing to do. Even more so when you're talking about individual issues. Carbon capture, which is a state issue, was argued on a national level throughout the Senate race. Getting people to reverse course on that, to vote for someone who's on the other side on that, I don't think is going to be the easiest thing around. One more from Pearson Cross. He talks about the president giving Julia Letlow the nod in the Republican primary. Expect that to step up.
He put a lot of energy into her, taped a couple of live things with her, was on the interview. 100,000 people heard the interview that he was on. So it's possible that he's going to continue to invest some energy in her and try to get her launched.
And not just the interview, that tele-rally. I mean, the president hopped on board with a rally the Thursday before the election. That's kind of a big deal. All right, that's going to do it for this hour. Hour 3 is coming up next. We got a lot of ground to cover still. Anna Johnson's going to join us at 8:15. Oh, and Wilton with Moon coming in, it's going to send you back across the hall again today because he's doing a live show in here.
How long is he back? Because that guy Jordan came in and sent me back here after.
You're 24/7.
I'll talk to Jordan to make sure, because how long does it take you to get everything done?
I mean, I'll probably get faster.
Checking something right now.
For now, I'm not recording it in the way Bree does in audition. When you do your interviews, I'm pulling them from the skrillex.
Yeah.
It's taking me a little while. Like I was here till like 11 o'clock yesterday.
Is that it right there?
All right. I'll talk to Jordan and ask him if you can have a little extra time over there. He doesn't have to do a whole lot to prep for Jimmy's show. So.
I'll try to be fast today. I mean,
yeah.
I get faster every time I do it.
Well, also, you can pull from Sterlitz here while I'm interviewing Anna Johnson. You could be pulling previous interviews. Put them in queue and put your headphones on. Do what? Kind of. I took 4 days off last week to drive kids around. We had more camps and practices than Christy could handle.
I went on a little one, and I got my wife. We had 31 this year. I didn't take them more than 30. I think she's planning a trip for about 2 weeks. I'll be gone like a Thursday, come back on a Monday. So that's gonna be it for me. We had an AAU tournament in Gulf Shores. Hello. We hear y'all. Brian can talk to you when we talk to you.
Do what? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is he hearing me? 1, 2, 3, 4. They're hearing both shots right here. I don't have it in my headphones yet. Building sooner, meet your match. Yep, you hearing me? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is mic 2 flipped over? All right. All right.
Y'all coming, they coming through clear here.
Yeah. One, 2, 3, 4. We're getting ready. We're doing a little air check test for Moon Show right now. The Moon Griffon Show coming your way. 1 hour from right now. Aw. No, Anna Johnson's not going to be in studio. We got the Bloomberg Money Minute coming up. Awesome. It's on. Yeah, we're good. He's got me. All right. Only thing we're going to have to flip when Moon comes on is to get Lafayette in his head. Most, if not all of it, yes. If Cade can spell me for a little bit, yes, but it's going to be me most of the time. I multitask. Do what? Bro, if it means having you in town, you better believe I'm here for it. Hey, what if you have any free time at all? Don't sweat it if you can't. I just okay.
It'll be a separate time. I'll sit with you on how we make that connection. There's no easy way to do it because they're trying to test audio. We're still doing a show. But it's key whenever we do something like that, take it out of offline. You're asking like the offline matter to like the phones and the guests. So if they are sending us audio, which they are currently, and we have it in offline in this scenario, if we get like a guest phone call like Anna in a couple minutes, she's gonna hear Brian, and she's gonna also hear stuff from that other Lafayette person, and it'll be super confusing to the guest.
Right.
So while we have this scenario going, just make sure that pot 2 is not in offline, and you're good.
Anna Johnson's a phone call.
Yeah, she'll be on in a minute, in about 10 minutes.
Is Troy Carter a phone call too?
Yes. Troy Carter. No, he doesn't. That's .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Wilton Landry producing. Starting off your 8 o'clock hour at 82 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. We get a lot of ground to cover this hour, y'all. Anna Johnson's going to join us in our next segment. She'll be on the hotline. America 250 is the theme for today. But this is going to be a different perspective because when you think about America 250, most of us think, all patriotic and playing a fife in Washington, crossing the Delaware. And, we'll walk down that path as well. But this is a country that has evolved over the years. And So Anna works for the Office of Conservation and Energy. What has been the energy role in that evolution, and what has been Louisiana's role within that? So that's where the conversation is going to start. I don't know where it goes from there because, well, when Anna's on, it always goes sideways. So we'll talk with Anna Johnson at 8:15. Congressman Troy Carter is going to be on with us at 8:35. Little DC Current presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Right now, though, we roll back the clock. It's time for This Day in History. All right. What happened?
A couple of interesting bits of trivia for you here today on this June 30th. Going all the way back to 1520.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Spanish conquistadors were expelled from Tenochtitlan following the Aztec revolt.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's Hernan Cortez and the Spanish conquistadors. They're expelled from Tenochtitlan. Let's see. So we had a lot of the Spanish soldiers, drowning in the escape, and as well as notably Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II.
But the Aztecs won. For them.
For the time being, yeah. They were successful in expelling the conquistadors.
Okay, cool.
Temporarily. Let me see. I mean, we talked about America 250 on here.
Go for it.
But think about how much older some of these other places are that we have a lot of our information coming from.
Oh, I know.
All the way back in 1860, so almost 100 years, or over 100 years before that, was the most famous debate on Charles Darwin's theory of evolution at Oxford University.
Really?
Yeah. So if you can imagine 100 years before. America was they already had Oxford University, already a major, university thought center of modern thought. Let me see here. I don't know what else you had, but in 1934, today is the anniversary of the Night of the Long Knives in Nazi Germany. That is when Adolf Hitler did a purge of his Nazi party, kind of took control of the party by force. Had a lot of the secret police going through the streets of Germany. It was a very historical event, kind of marked his iron-fisted takeover of the Nazi party and of
Why
German
is everything
life.
about Nazis were always the night of?
I don't know why. I guess maybe it's because I don't know why they named it that way. Some more just kind of general trivia. A couple years after that, in 1937, the world's first emergency telephone service was launched in London.
Okay.
Their number was 999.
999?
Yeah.
That actually feels like it's slightly easier to dial.
Yeah, probably quicker and just a little easier to remember.
Not to be a jerk about it, but maybe they had it right.
And then going into some pop culture news, the Johnny Carson show debuted on CBS TV in 1955. This day in history. Yeah.
Wait, no. Carson didn't start in 55, did he? The Tonight Show started in 55. Wasn't Carson still years later? You had Jack
the Johnny Carson show.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not the Tonight. This was a separate Johnny Carson show.
On
All right.
CBS.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I got a couple. Let's take you back to 1859. Jean-Francois Gravelet, or if you're from Metairie, Gravelet. He crossed the Niagara Falls on a tightrope on this day in 1859. 1936, that new Margaret Mitchell dropped. Gone with the Wind was published on this day in 1936. And in 1971, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was released.
Nice.
Yes.
Ready to go for some famous birthdays?
Yes.
All right. So I only saw two that I was really excited about. Big day for Mikes in American sports. We got Mike Tyson and Michael Phelps both celebrating their birthdays today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Goats in both their respected sports.
Exactly.
Gotta love that. So as far as birthdays were concerned, I did not even bother opening up that page. I had Lena Horne, but that was the only one that I had.
Yeah, just not a big day for celebrity birthdays, I suppose.
Yeah, it happens. What else you got? Celebrity deaths, anybody?
Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II.
Well, yeah, I guess that one does fit, doesn't it?
Back in 1520.
That certainly applies. Shout out Montezuma.
I didn't see any
Huge
other
following on Instagram.
Yeah, I didn't see any other really, really big ones. especially not like American celebrity deaths or anything like that.
All good, no big deal. What national day you got today?
I had, let me see. Oh, and this was actually a historical event I skipped over today. So it was, let me see, in 1908, a giant fireball had caused, it caused a giant 80 million trees flattened by a giant fireball. This is in this is in Russia. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, by the Stony Tungutska River.
Okay.
In the state of Russia,
Because we all know where that's at.
it's the largest asteroid impact event in recorded history.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that one, it was a super long time ago, but that leaves us with International Asteroid Day today.
All right.
Yeah.
I had social media day, so I like yours better. It is 8:12 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hey, before we take our next break, Lynn Ronja with the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is their website. LandmarkBankLA.com. Speaking of history, they've been around since 1897. And that is a long time. It's a long time to be dedicated to the same mission and thriving within that mission. It's a long time to remain a community bank, remaining a member of your community. Now, the number of communities they're in has grown over time and probably will in the future as well. But as it stands right now, if you visit landmarkbankla.com, hit the About Us tab, find where the locations are at. If they're in your community, you want to be a part of their community because they are a part of the community. Whether you're talking about borrowing, whether you're talking about saving, whether you're talking about investing, or talking about something as simple as opening your kid's first checking account, they've got you covered. LandmarkBankLA.com.
But that's needed to plug into the board, and I would advise using some for the purpose of a couple things. I don't mean to just drop one like that. When you're listening to the music bed, you get an idea of how high or low to put it based on you and Brian's conversation, right? When you're coming back from break, you can kind of get an idea of how you're fading out that or whatever.
I normally try using this is my first day that they weren't just in here.
Okay.
Whenever I got in here.
Those belong to other studio software.
Grab the hotline.
Right here. But it's also good for guest volume and whatnot too.
Talk 107.3 FM. And up. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna throw you on hold real quick, and Brian will cue you in at about 8:15, 8:16. All right.
$8:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We've got plenty of shows still to go here. Congressman Troy Carter slated to join us in 20 minutes from right now. A little DC Current presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Right now, though, we want to head out to the hotline. Oh, my goodness gracious. Right now, though, we want to head out to the hotline. We got Anna Johnson on with us. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well on this end. Need you to, if you see a text from me, ignore it. Okay, I hit undo send. My text was recording my voice to text real quick, and it just sent you everything I just said in the tease leading up to bringing you on the show. So if you see a text from me, just ignore it. All right.
Oh, great.
We've got. I'm tempted to go back to the session and do a little recap because I don't think I've gotten your take on anything that went down. But let's start by looking forward, though. America 250. This week, we'll be celebrating the 250th birthday of America. That means a lot of things from a lot of different angles. But with your role over there at Conservation and Energy, what is your role with America 250?
Yeah, so we are coming to you live from DC, and we are helping kick off the Freedom 250 celebration here in DC. And so when Trump rolled this out, he wanted this to kind of be a prolonged celebration, obviously, of our country. So what he's done is he's set up a pavilion for every state and territory right on the National Mall. And so we all have a pavilion to kind of showcase the best of our state. And he has a theme for every single day. And so today's theme is energy, innovation, and technology. So we're super excited. So we've got a good crew down here today. We've got our department, obviously. We've got some folks from Louisiana Chemistry Association. We've got Mike Mazzola with Fuel, obviously our folks at LED, and a few others sprinkled in. So it's been really neat. Governor Landry kind of gave us the directive, and it was basically kind of make it like the Super Bowl, but like on a very, very condensed budget. But obviously, you know, when the president says, hey, we're going to throw a party in DC, Louisiana's like, hold my beer, we got this.
Yes.
So if there's anything we know how to do, it is party. And so I'm a little biased, but I think our pavilion looks great. We've got the big Mardi Gras head, and so it's really, really neat. We've enjoyed handing out beads and kind of meeting folks from other states, and they grouped us. We're in a cluster with some other southern states, and so it's been really neat to kind of see everybody come together. And it was funny last night. Our Uber driver, we were on the way to dinner, and he's like, I've never seen DC like this before. He's like, I've never seen the energy, the excitement. We heard this morning on the radio, this is the #1 travel day to DC for 4th of July. So, and LED is going to kill me whenever I say this, because I know I'm going to slice the numbers, but on our last planning call, I think they said that they do, it's either 5,000 or 8,000 rounds of fireworks normally on July 4th, and then for America 250, they're doing 800,000 rounds of
Oh
fireworks.
my goodness!
Like, when do you start that? Like 2 days in advance? Like DC's just going to be in like a fog for the next 24 to 48 hours. So I mean, that just shows you the level of excitement around here, and so we're just happy to be a part of it.
I mean, that might be the biggest investment into the Chinese economy since Donald Trump's taken over.
Right. But I mean, when do you ever have a celebration like this again?
Well, not for another 250 years, obviously. That's
right. Exactly.
And I don't think we'll be here for that one. Right. We got Anna Johnson on with us. Walk us through a little bit about what is specifically Louisiana's role when you talk about that energy growth over the years. The America 250 is not all about, and I teed this up last segment. It's not all about George Washington crossing the Delaware. It's not all about, playing a fife and having a drum. It's not, I mean, a lot of that stuff will play into it, but our growth in shaping the world has been on many different fronts. And one of those fronts is the energy front. So Louisiana's role really comes to the forefront there. So tell us a little bit about what's being presented on that level.
Yeah. So obviously with where we're located on that petrochem corridor along the Mississippi River, I mean, industry, oil and gas has really kind of been the backbone of Louisiana since I've been alive. Mm-hmm. And right now, I believe Louisiana is the #1 LNG exporter in the country. And so, I mean, that's huge. You just don't see numbers like that. And so, when Trump got into office the second time around, he kind of removed those barriers and hit the gas and said, drill, baby, drill. Yep. And so what he did is he kind of removed those silos and some of those heavy regulations that the Biden administration had placed on industry. And now you're starting to see the fruits of that kind of develop a little bit. And so it's been really neat. And then, as you know, the last couple of months, Trump has also given a directive to Department of Energy and Chris Wright to open up nuclear. And so you're starting to see the DOE just awarded the first round of grant funding to certain states and locations to develop those SMRs and nuclear innovation campuses. And so I don't want to give away too much, but Louisiana's in that pipeline. So hopefully we'll be hearing some exciting news soon. But, just things like that we're excited about, and to be able to come to DC, not just for the celebration, but, while we're here, we're also rolling up our sleeves and doing the work and meeting with the folks that are making things happen around the country, specifically in the energy sector. So
Absolutely love that. And I love the tease about nuclear, because it was less than 2 weeks ago that U.S. Deputy Energy Secretary James Danley was on with us, and he was teeing up that same topic as if there were a lot more to come in the very near future, both large and small reactor. And, when you walk down the path of where we're headed on the data center front and how do you best run this without breaking our backs with our electrical bills, this is a no-brainer of an answer to see growth on that front.
Well, what's crazy is this morning on the news when I was getting ready and I'm listening to local news, they had a commercial. It was a data center company, and they had testimonials from folks that live in the area talking about how great the tax revenue has been, how that's kind of pushed them. This was in Virginia. It pushed them into either the top 5 or the top 10 richest zip codes in the country because of all the revenue that it's bringing and the jobs that it brought. And so, it's funny to me, but again, that's a good segue, because what everyone's looking to do eventually is have some sort of SMR or some nuclear component to these data centers so that we're not straining the grid. But also, like you mentioned, this is just a good way. This helps promote jobs. It helps promote long-term prosperity for our grid. And, it just opens up the possibilities. And so we're excited.
We got Anna Johnson with us. She is with the Conservation and Energy Department with the state of Louisiana. She's up in Washington, D.C. for America 250, Freedom 250, as it will be a celebration going on all week.
Yeah.
Are you there the whole week?
I am here until tomorrow.
So after you head out, is it like a rolling roster for Louisiana to have representation up that way?
Oh, yes. We have people here at our pavilion every day, like I said. So LED, I want to give credit to LED and to the governor's office. Like I said, we got the news, I guess, in the end of April, the beginning of May. And so LED's really done a lot of the heavy lifting and getting the pavilion ready and making sure that it's, for each theme, we have the correct people in the state there representing and the giveaways and the beads and really telling our stories. We've got a lot of storytellers that they've been posting on their social media. And so this is all part of really kind of attracting folks to our state. And, like I said, I'm biased, but I think folks are having the most fun at our pavilion, because we're giving away beads, and it's like a little mini Mardi Gras. Who doesn't like that?
Well, Susan Bourgeois is getting so much mileage out of the Louisiana Now Pavilion. Like you said at the beginning, we saw it at the Super Bowl. We saw it at Washington Mardi Gras. I'm pretty sure she set one up at the Mercy School Fair.
Yeah. Look, it's, that's all part of our culture, and I think that's what people think of when they think of Louisiana. What's the first thing they think of? Mardi Gras. Great.
Right.
Well, we're going to bring Mardi Gras to you guys this time. So,
right. And at the same time, tell you about all the business opportunities that are available right here. It really is a great marriage. It really is a great way to put our best foot forward. I make fun because she uses it every time she turns around, and she should. She absolutely should. So I'm just, kind of busting chops a little bit.
LED's doing great stuff. They've
110 billion,
back-to-back awards
right.
For projects, and they're killing it. Like I said, Governor Landry really he's put his foot on the gas and said, let's go on economic development. And so they have understood the assignment.
Absolutely. Anna Johnson's with us. Let's pivot real quick. And we could do a fuller segment when you get back home if you want. But give me a 10,000-foot takeaway of the legislative session, because I haven't picked your brain about it yet.
Oh my God. Huge wins in workforce development. There were a ton of great bills from Ken Grass, and I think Barbara Freiberg had a couple. This was Paul Sawyer's first session too, and I thought he had a really great his water bill that helped get the funding in place for the flooding that had been happening in Livingston. So I thought that was a really big win for him, and I really enjoyed his takeaways from session 2, and And let's see what else. I mean, obviously on the carbon capture front, most of those bills died on the vine pretty early. So,
Yeah.
so that we weren't really dealing with that much drama. But I think overall, I think a lot of that was overshadowed by the redistricting stuff that was going on, and the other nuances that would pop up during session, teacher pay raises, and things of that nature. But overall, I have to say, I think workforce development was the biggest winner of the session. So good on that front. I mean, there were some great top bills that expanded funding, and so, like I said, workforce, I think, was the biggest win this session for us.
Oh, Susie Shalwin had like an entourage around her. She had walk-up music every room she walked into. Workforce development was the number one. She was the rock star of the whole session.
Well, I mean, with all the jobs that are in the pipeline, I mean, you think about Hyundai, S&P Global, just all of the stuff that's going on in Donaldsonville right now, and what we're hearing more and more from companies is we don't have the workforce here. And so what does that mean for us? It means we have to go create and make sure that we have programs in place that will help children get there, but also create jobs and prosperity for our state. And so I think, as we continue to have conversations about where our state is headed, I think you're going to start to see more bills, better bills. And I know we've got some resolutions on the table too, to kind of study the ROI on some of these programs too. So I think as we peel back the layers on that onion, it's only going to get better.
Oh, no, completely agree. Completely agree. And it's playing out the way it's supposed to. And the mission is twofold, because yes, you want to train Louisiana's workforce to adapt to the new jobs that are coming here, but we also want to bring home Louisianans who have long since left to say now is the time. We have jobs available for you. Come back. We will feed you just like we did before. So it's all good things and moving in the right direction. In the meanwhile, Anna Johnson, always appreciate the time. Let's talk when you get back, because we got plans coming up for legislator.
Obviously so.
Yep.
Talk to you soon. Thanks,
All right.
Ryan.
Thank you. Always. That was Anna Johnson with the Department of Conservation and Energy. Really, really cool that are showing up and showing out as we do wherever we go. If we can't be in Omaha this year, we'll be in DC, right? If it's not LSU in Omaha, it's Louisiana as a state doing the takeover. And other states, they're just magnetized. They are attracted to us like a moth to the flame. We bring them in. I love it. We got news coming up in just a minute. Traffic, weather on the back end of that. Congressman Troy Carter is going to join us. A little DC Current presented by LABI. Before we hit that news break, though, got to remind you about Guarantee Health Solutions. You can learn more about them if you visit guaranteehealth.com. I love telling you about the origin of Guarantee Health, because there's been something lacking when it comes to getting medical services in Louisiana and really anywhere in America, is that it gets very sterile, very transactional, very much no longer about the patient, but all about the paperwork. It's all about making sure you're filed right and your insurance covers this. And it's somewhere lost in the wash is the fact that there's a family member who's sick. What are you doing to take care of that family member in your medical office? Visit guaranteehealth.com. Guaranteehealth.com developed a program designed around utilizing that bedside manner to accelerate your business. Guaranteehealth.com. Oh, tell Sarah that the hotline is still out.
So he's going to call me.
I don't know what to feature today. Charleton Meginley featured today, please. Oh.
Okay. And I'm posting Jeff Crouere, Charleton Meginley, Ascension Chamber, Anna Johnson, and Troy Carter.
Correct. Sounded like Shay Dixon, didn't it?
On 3 and
Moon does this in our studio every Tuesday.
That would be what we want, but no, it's a lot more random than that over the phone. Yeah.
Block 107.3. All right, wonderful. We're on break right now, and I'm gonna just put you on hold for a little bit. Brian will pull you in at 8:37 is whatever we're slated. Oh, you can hang out on hold and he'll just pull you in or. Okay.
Check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
So I went both Saturday at Forest Park over there off of South Earls Ferry.
Yeah.
And like as I pull up, just like it typically has been, maybe 2 or 3 other cars are there. But this was like 10 in the morning, 9:30. There was a dude out there with his truck, 2 ice chests, and he had started a cookout with maybe a small percentage of the family that was going to attend there. But it smelled so damn good. It was like just the charcoals were going like 9:45 in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
just walking by, just a random little, covered area. As well as some weekend warrior walkers.
Love that.
They walk with like the stick from the blue monkey from like Lion King.
Yeah.
It's like a wooden stick that's curved. Rafiki. A little Rafiki walk.
I would love to know this. Who hurt him? This guy's backstory is like, why is he such a dick to attorneys?
So I was thinking about this because I was driving and I heard the spot. Everything just talks like, oh man, I call this guy, he can help me get out of the timeshare I'm in. I think he just sells you a kit. He tells you a timeshare, like, get out of a kit.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's hands free. Like, hey, buy my kit. It's like Dave Ramsey saying, buy the
financial piece.
I'm not helping you. You got to read the book. Everything.
Right. Yeah. Get FPU. Yeah.
Well, hey, big fun. I thought you were going to help me. I got a couple questions. Come on, man. It's in the book. I just provided you the book.
I mean, it's like if you would think I'm an attorney, I'll punch you in the throat. It's like, why? Who hurt you? Why are you so bitter? Yeah. I'm not an attorney. Fucking attorney.
Oh, I was watching something on Hulu the other day.
Yeah.
It had to be because that's the only one we got with ads. And lo and behold, what pops up in the middle of a segment of, I think Scrubs came out watching. New Scrubs.
Yeah.
Hot Dog Law Firm TV commercial.
Oh, I've been meaning to do a Top Dog Law commercial about Tony Spell. I need to do one about Tony Spell. I'm just standing in my driveway across from a church. Pastor's coming at me. Pastor's whooping my ass. Top Dog Law. God, those are the best spots. This past is whooping my ass. There's a man of God on me. He bite like a dog. Yeah, regular bump music, and then I toss to the open. Eight 837 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Nowhere near done yet. We got a little bit more ground to cover. We got one more news item later on. Right now, though, don't want to leave them sitting on hold any longer than they absolutely has to be. It's time for DC Current, presented by LABI. We got Congressman Troy Carter on the hotline right now. Congressman Carter, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you today?
I am doing well. We got a number of different news items to cover with you, but before we do, I have to give proper recognition where recognition is due. We have to anoint you. We have to give you the crown, sir. For a long time now, let's start here. Former Congressman Garrett Graves was the prop and poster master of the Capitol Hill. Nobody brought props and posters into their testimony or into their floor speeches, whatever, like Congressman Graves did. He had a whole mini storage full of posters and charts and graphs and everything like that. Meanwhile, over on the Senate side, Senator Bill Cassidy has been the acronym king for a long time. He has been the acronym king. Nobody names their bills with acronyms better than Bill Cassidy until now. I learned yesterday that you have the Establishing and Developing University Cannabis Agriculture Techniques and Excellence Act, the Educate Act. Sir, that is next level acronym right there. As Senator Cassidy leaves the Hill, you take the crown.
Fantastic, man. I like to see that you are paying attention, my friend.
It takes a skill.
See that you are paying attention. You actually read my bills. I love it. I love it.
It takes a skill to be able to map out to where it spells it out like that. The Educate Act, Establishing and Developing University Cannabis Agriculture Techniques. I don't even care what the bill's about. You match the wording with the name, and it's awesome. So good on you. Actually, give us a second. Tell us what the bill's about.
Well, let me tell you, it's a great name, and what the bill does, and thank you for calling it out.
Yes.
What the bill does is, as we know, cannabis growth and the medicinal purposes for it is growing wildly popular across the country. We know that many people are finding relief for cancer, pain, leukemia, so many other PTSD, so many other ailments, that it is a ever-growing industry, yet we have not enough competent people in the space. So what this does is encourages our schools, particularly HBCUs, to get into the space of learning about the agricultural side of cannabis, from our farmers to our purveyors to those who would process. It is a multi-billion-dollar business that is coming. We need people who will be qualified to be able to do it. So this encourages a curriculum to teach people the agricultural side of cannabis development.
Now, isn't Southern University already on board with this?
Yes, Southern University is. This expands it beyond. Southern University was the first ever to be in this space along with LSU. I think that program has since waned a bit. This gives us an opportunity to step it up and to encourage other schools to do the same.
Obviously, when you start talking about this, when you have more room for error within. What's being done to make sure as this program grows, because medicinally we're seeing it take off. Obviously, we'll leave the recreational part of the argument out right now because medicinal is where this is headed. But as it grows, what are we doing to make sure that we keep tight reins on where it should be?
Well, just like anything else, you have to have quality control. You have to make sure that you are managing the processes, and that's with any program, whether it's cannabis pharmacy or anything or any process or any curriculum. The safeguards are in place to ensure that the curriculum stays tight, that the licensing, permitting, and all that stuff stays tight. So it is like any other academic or professional controls, well managed and monitored.
We got Congressman Troy Carter on with us. We got a couple more things to cover before we cut you loose for the 4th of July weekend, which we'll touch on that in a little bit. I want to go back to a previous topic we've talked about, Congressman Carter. June having been Men's Health Month. We talked about sickle cell a couple weeks ago, and lo and behold, there was a headline coming out. I believe it was late last week. It was like Thursday or Friday. But coming out of New Orleans, no less, the first child in Louisiana to be cured of sickle cell disease. Daniel Cressy is his name. Not child, but he's early 20s. Talk to me a little bit about this advancement and really what the potential is here.
What an amazing, amazing story.
Yes.
Daniel Cressy, a 23-year-old young man, patient in New Orleans, who was born with sickle cell anemia.
Mm-hmm.
Had learned to just kind of live with the incredible pain and the challenges associated with it, and was kind of going through life and figuring out this is the hand that I've been dealt. I've got to play it. I'm going to continue to live. With incredible courage, he continued to advance his life, decided he wanted to become a pilot. Went through all the steps to become a pilot, came upon the point where a medical was required to go to the next level. They did the medical and came back. Oops, sorry, you're disqualified because you have sickle cell anemia.
Right.
Boom, burst the bubble of his dream. But he didn't roll over and cry or die. He sought research and found out about this process called gene therapy. Through gene therapy with the wonderful doctors at LCM, Manning's Children's Hospital, LSU in Tulane, he became a perfect candidate for this gene therapy, went through the painful process and lengthy process of gene therapy, and boom, just about 10 days ago, he rang the bell and he is factually cured of sickle cell. What they do is they replace all of the blood and genes, and then they clean them essentially. I'll kind of fast forward and just give you a 101 version,
Mm-hmm.
and then pump it back into his system, and then his body reproduces the platelets, but this time they are round. They don't have that sickle shape that as they travel through your bloodstream, clog and cause razor type pain throughout the body. It's a very excruciating pain. But through his bravery and the wonders of medical science, Daniel Cressy is cured and on his way to being a pilot. What an incredible blessing. The very first in the entire state of Louisiana where a person has been cured of this very painful disease called sickle cell anemia. It was not a dry eye in the room. The governor was there, the mayor was there, a number of medical and professional and individuals were there to witness this amazing young man with amazing courage and strength who was determined to chase his dream and chased it right to the cure at LCMC that has given him a new lease on life.
Now, the backstory here is the reason he could not be a pilot is sickle cell is directly exacerbated by thinner air. So altitude and sickle cell don't go well together. I actually learned about this through former LSU Tiger Ryan Clark. He had an episode when trying to play in Denver, and he got like deathly ill. So yeah, there's a correlation there between.
Very similar situation. I went skiing with a group of friends. One of my buddies got out there and got deathly ill. We had no idea what was going on. Little did he know he had the sickle cell trait latent in his body. Didn't know it. The high altitudes affected it, and he nearly died.
Yeah. The story became very public, very fast. Well, I mean, in LSU circles or down your way, Shaw circles, I guess. was where Ryan Clark went to high school. But it's when he was on that level in the NFL, and he could not play when they went to Denver because the air was thinner. I would imagine it would be infinitely worse for a pilot to be in the air that often.
Absolutely.
So
And the irregular or the sudden attacks as they may come, that you just don't know when you may have
right.
An attack of sickle cell. When those cells clog, the pain is unbearable, and it literally leaves you basically unable to function. What a great story demonstrating Louisiana being first in something good, which is something that we strive for every day, to continue to rack up those firsts and something good. Shout out to the doctors at LCMC Health, the Manning Children's Hospital, as well as LSU and Tulane, and the Cressy family for the courage and stick-to-itness to not give up. The other good thing about this young man is, you would think that he's 23 years old, he's so happy, he'd just be happy with his own life, he's going to go on and enjoy himself. No, he decided, because of the incredible blessing he received, he now has a nonprofit that will help other people, other young people out there, find their way to this treatment and to give them hope and support as they go through what he went through, as he described, one of the most lonely periods in his life, and he didn't want any other young people to go through that. So he's establishing this support group for others that are going through it. What an amazing young man.
Very, very awesome to hear. We've got less than 30 seconds to go with Congressman Troy Carter, a little DC Current presented by LABI. Congressman, give me the quick birthday toast to our nation. 250 years.
250 years, man. 250 years. We haven't always got it right, but a wonderful country it is. I say to people, if you have any issue with America, I challenge you here. There's no place anywhere in this universe, even with its challenges and its false starts and hiccups, America remains the best place in the universe. So 250 years, let's make the 250 years even better with a demonstration of liberty and justice for all. This time, let's really mean it.
Yeah, he is Congressman Troy Carter. We always appreciate the time. Have a happy 4th. We'll talk to you next week.
God bless you, my friend. Have a fantastic week.
You do the same, Congressman Troy Carter. We had like 3 other things to cover right there, but I don't want to undersell that sickle cell story. That is major game changer moving forward. Absolutely, on a medical front in our own backyard, right down the road in New Orleans. So good stuff on that end. All right, we're coming up on 8:50 at Talk 107.3 FM at WBRP. We'll check your money now. We'll check traffic. We got one more segment to go. We're going to close it out and then hand it off to Moon Griffon. It's coming up next. Do you still have cuts 7, 8, and 9 handy?
Yeah.
Okay.
LRA cuts.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to that story. Yeah, I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything written down here because I didn't know if. Yeah. Yep. And I don't know if I'm gonna hit all 3 of them, but.
That's cool. I'm ready for that. Whenever you want to go. Troy Carter, what's his congressional district?
The second, predominantly New Orleans, but it snakes up the river and covers Southern University. Do what?
In my ears, like they were
Oh.
their ads, and I thought I had to switch it, but I
You're
like
good.
the ads. You were saying about his district?
It's predominantly New Orleans, but it kind of snakes up the river and covers part of Baton Rouge and Southern University. So he has a majority-minority district. No, it's not. Is flu running rampant in late June, early July?
Do they send you guys audio, or they come in and track it in here, or what?
What's that?
For their commercials and stuff?
Commercials in general, it's either through an agency that produces it and sends it, or they get production guys scouted and
Oh man. Oh, get tight sitting there too long.
3 hours is a good little run in a row.
Yeah.
So Brian, how did you get into radio? Tell me about your career a little bit.
Way back in high school,
Yeah.
got the opportunity to do some local radio in Covington at a piece of shit station on the AM side of the dial, and just got bit by the radio bug. Knew it was what I wanted to do with the rest of my life.
What year are we talking? I don't know. I don't even know.
Sophomore year of high school, 1993.
Okay.
And yeah, just knew right away and developed a love for a lot of the radio personalities that I heard along the way. And
Is that when you started selling typewriters over the door? And your XR4TI?
that's one of the personalities. But he was on
Can you
TV.
imagine having that job? Typewriters.
But yeah, it's, I didn't work in radio until 04. Like work in radio until October of 04. And then August of 2005, my career really accelerated because Katrina happened.
What was the connection between Katrina and your radio career?
All the stations in New Orleans got knocked off the air and their towers got decimated and everything. So they were all broadcasting out of Baton Rouge. So you had all the radio stations in New Orleans working at Clear Channel over there off of Hilton Drive by the Marriott. So you're working 24/7 emergency coverage, which is very, very labor intensive. But at the same time, though, these people need to go home and start rebuilding their homes. So if I wanted to produce, I produced. If I wanted to call screen, I call screen. If I wanted to do news, I did news. Every opportunity to work was there. So I was putting in 18-hour days. It was awesome. And it really it launched me through the roof. Oh, fantastic. 8:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Moon Graffon's in studio coming up. He'll be in about 10 minutes from right now. Before we get out of here, I do want to revisit one story, if for no other reason than just to have a good there's a moment when you know you're on the right track every once in a while, and one of those moments happened today. Earlier in the show, in fact, 2 hours ago, I was talking about the teacher pay raise, and how a Baton Rouge judge, Judge Chip Moore, is allowing the governor's plan to fund a $2,000 teacher stipend to move forward. The judge lifted the temporary restraining order that he set after disqualifying the law from representing the plaintiffs. Patrick Wall, an education reporter for The Advocate, says the state argued that the law firm, Baker Donaldson, couldn't be involved in a lawsuit against Louisiana while also representing the state in a separate case on the federal level. Cut 7, please.
The judge agreed with them and disqualified that firm from the case. And because of that, that also dissolved the temporary restraining order.
Which factually is awesome. That's accurate. One of the things that I've noticed in covering this story is no matter where you went no matter what news outlet you went to find reporting on the story, it made it sound like the governor is robbing the education, like taking money away from education itself. Per The Advocate, Governor Jeff Landry's plan to cut public school budgets to pay for teacher stipends can proceed after a judge Monday lifted an order blocking the plan, which was set to take effect July 1st. Similar coverage at WBRZ, similar coverage at WAFB. Per the Louisiana Radio Network, they say Landry's plan reduces funding for public schools by $168 million. This is partially true. Okay, it reduces the MFP by $168 million. It does not reduce educational funding by $168 million, unless you believe that teachers aren't a part of the educational process. I was doing this 2 hours ago, and it kind of went off on a little rant saying, to me, there is no more valuable resource that can be funded than the teachers who are in the classroom. The back to Wall. He says the plan results in a reduction of 4% or more in state funding for local school systems. Cut 8.
They're going to have to find savings at the local level to make up for that money.
Yes, they are. Because when you talk about what resources that are going on there, yeah, they're going to have to find savings on that side because they're paying more on the other side. And I would argue that if your priorities are in line, teachers should come first. There is nothing else in the classroom, to me, that is more valuable to an education than the teacher themselves. And we've known this as a priority of Governor Landry since the day he was sworn in. It was part of his inauguration speech. So I wanted to revisit this because after I did that segment 2 hours ago, in fact, 22 minutes after I did that segment, the governor tweets, once again, the media is misleading the public. Shame on them. We are not in all caps, cutting public school funding, period. Last time I checked, teachers are part of the public school budget. Do teachers not deserve a pay raise? Not a single dollar is being taken away from public education. We're investing in teachers, not bureaucracy. Hey, Governor, stop stealing my takes, man. We're done for today. Moon Griffon's next. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh, I thought you had said 10 seconds left. All right, so let's go over this real quick. Okay. 1 minute is 1 minute. This is 30 seconds, and then this is 10. Okay. You give me those threes. I'll map the rest out in my head. So, hey, Facebook, we got to get out of here. Flip it over for Moon. We'll see y'all tomorrow.